Zoom and boom, everyone! It has been a long time coming, but we are here. It is May 12th, Sunday, 7 o'clock on the East Coast. We are live, episode number 32 of According to Spiky Dash. Spiky Dash here with you. This is a loaded show, loaded episode tonight. We're going to have a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. And a lot, we're covering everything that this show is. Ponies, sports, life, it's all in this episode because I've not done one since, I haven't done a video since I did my second look at Uprooted, episode 3, and then the Blind Reaction, episode 4. So it has been, this video has been, I've been needing to do it for a while. But it's so great to be here. It's great, as always, to do this and just talk about a lot of things going on. Was going to do this last week, but got busy for a couple reasons, and I'll explain why in this video. So in the stream tonight. So let's lay out the schedule. What are we going to talk about here? Well, we're going to start it off with some pony-related stuff, some drama kind of going on regarding actually a former convention, not a current convention, although I do have some current convention news, but a former convention has some drama going on with it. We'll talk about that. Also, just my thoughts on more about the Student 6 and why I think maybe even after when this gen ends, I'm going to give you guys 5 reasons why I think they should have their own spinoff. Whether it's Gen 5, whether it's their own thing, I'm going to give you guys the reasons why I feel that way. Then we'll delve into a little bit of sports-related stuff. We'll recap my teams from the NFL draft back in April. I'll kind of give you a breakdown of how I felt about each of the draft picks that my teams that I follow did, and that kind of thing, and how I think things are going to be going forward. I also do have NFL predictions, so I will also share those as I'm talking about the draft as well. I'll give you guys a review of a really cool place me and my friends went to last week, which is why I didn't do the stream last week, up in Whiting. So we'll talk about that. Then a couple life things. I'll talk about a movie that I saw recently that came out actually about a week or so ago. I'll give my review on that. Also about how things are going at my new church that I've now started to go to as well. And then we will end with the episodes with MLP. I'll give a recap on episode 5, Point of No Return, and then we will have full on blind reactions to not 1 but 2 episodes. Yes, episodes 6 and 7. I know nothing about these. I've tried really hard to be spoiler free. I've not seen any. Like I said, I've stayed off Twitter during all these episodes of air. I know nothing. So until I see what I see on the episode guide from the DVR, that's really my only indication as to what's going to happen in the episodes. Other than that, I know nothing. So it's going to be really interesting to see. And considering what we've gotten so far from season 9, I can only expect more good things are going to come. It's amazing that we are technically not, if you mean, I don't count episode 1. Yes, it's a 2-parter, but I don't count it as a full episode. I count it as a separate, part 1, part 2. So we are 5 episodes in. Well, 4 if we count that I did rank Point of No Return. We're 5 episodes in, considering from what I've seen, and I have not rated 1 episode a really bad episode yet. That is interesting. That's a no pun intended, but that's a rarity. Like that's one of those things that I don't think, unless like it was one of the earlier seasons that I really liked, like 6 or 7, that doesn't happen very often, if at all. So it just goes to show how much really time, effort, and good vibes they're putting into this final season. So going to be good stuff there to talk about. But before we get into that, let's start with other pony related news. Let's talk about something that's been popping up all over my Twitter feeds. It's been on Horse News. It's been all over these sites kind of regarding this drama regarding FillyCon. Now, if you don't know what FillyCon was, and it's a was because it's no longer a convention, it only lasted for a year. It was in Philadelphia. They only had I think 500, 600 attendees. And it didn't last. I think it was in 2016, I believe, if I recall correctly. But this stuff has recently popped up because their accounts, their social media accounts, supposedly were hacked. There were these claims coming up on Twitter through Horse News. Even their Facebook, I think, was involved, but the Twitter account was hacked first. And it was completely altered. It was completely changed. I mean, granted, this is a dead convention. The thing has been active in 3 years, and all of a sudden, it's its looks changed, the stuff it's putting out has changed, the handles changed, everything was changed, and then it mainly started tweeting all this political stuff, which is definitely not something you normally see from a convention Twitter page, nor should you. And then people started responding to it as is this, this isn't right? Is this normal? And they just started, and then it went on block fest. Whoever was in control of the account now was going on this complete and utter blocking spree. But then these reports then started to surface about FillyCon and how the former organizers of the convention, supposedly they took all the money that was raised from the charity auction and they used it to pay bills and go on trips to other conventions, which is flat out disgusting if it's true. And from what I've seen on Twitter the past couple days, a lot of people are corroborating that report and saying, no, that's true. So again, the way it's sounding like it's true, that's downright disgusting. That the organizers of the con would do something like that. That is downright disgraceful, considering how much money this fandom as a whole has raised for charities. I have no words. It just blows my mind how shameful that is. At the time it was first announced, no one came forward to corroborate that, but there's still no full story on the Horse News website, which maybe we'll get at some point. I don't know for certain, but they're really starting to see that the more people talk about what happened, they're realizing this is getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and this is kind of becoming a big story, a big deal. So here's kind of the timeline of it, from what I gathered from certain tweets. Horse News first said, we're aware of the strange situation with FillyCon. They're trying to figure out what exactly happened to it, other than someone randomly political posting on it when it was assumed to be, by all accounts, dead. And it was, because this, like I said, the convention was only 3 years dormant. It hadn't had any activity. So for all of it to all of a sudden to have activity pop up was very odd, especially from a political standpoint. Horse News then said we sent a friend request to them and nothing has been confirmed. So again, don't even know if the person in control of the account even reached out back to them. Presumably not, considering how much of a blocking spree it was the account was going on. Then 2 hours after that, there was an update. The FillyCon Twitter, basically a long dead convention for those not in the loop, that suddenly started tweeting political vomit and blocking anyone who said anything at all to them, changed their handle. So their handle changed entirely. And the FillyCon name now links to an obvious placeholder. So all this was happening so fast. It was hard even to process for an outside observer. It was just happening so fast. And then Horse News tweeted, we're also finding out more information about other things that FillyCon was responsible for back when it ran, about money that was supposed to go to charity that didn't, and a bunch of other wild shit that's basically accumulated in this fallout. Stay tuned. So that's when you knew, at least I knew, that's when it was like, this is really getting into a whole nother level of deep. Like this really was taking on, the story was kind of really, I guess, gaining traction and taking on, a life of its own. So it really started to get deep at this point. And then around that same time, a Twitter user named, and I hope I pronounced this right, Satterwild, I hope I pronounced that correctly, posted this in response. Wondering why Pony Corp never files their 990s. Wondering why the Children's Hospital never got their $7K. $7,000 that was raised for charity that was supposed to go to the Children's Hospital, and they didn't receive a thing. Wondering why you nuked the Discord server. Yeah, as if that's not shady enough. Wondering why you blocked us on everything. Wondering why you're calling us incompetent. The usual. So yeah, at this point, the rumors and the reports kind of became like no longer rumors. Like there were people corroborating these stories and saying, no, that happened, or no, I was there at the auction, or what have you. There were plenty of stories coming out. And then flash forward to about 7 hours after that, and then Horse News posted, now we're hearing claims that it was apparently not the owner of FillyCon going crazy due to stress and other factors of past failures now caving in on her and lashing out. Rather, the FillyCon account was hacked. So apparently there was, again, different stories. Like, someone just thought, oh, the creator was having a meltdown of some kind. But no, apparently the thought was that it was legitimately hacked. And then, again, a little bit later after that, the report again came out that, someone actually said, oh, yeah, I was at the charity auction, and the person that was in charge of FillyCon, who goes by Glitch, who goes by Schweetz, took that money raised and used it all to pay bills and go on trips to other cons. Unbelievable. I mean, it's just, how can you do that? I guess that's not really a question for me to ask, but it's like, how can you do that with a clear conscience, with someone that's running a con, to do something like that? I can't even fathom it. I really can't. Then more back and forth mudslinging was going on between this Cynthia Richwalski, who created the FillyCon, claimed and still claimed that the Twitter and Facebook accounts were hacked, and the FillyCon Facebook page. And that claimed that the person who hacked Twitter was not even linked to the Facebook page, and the Facebook page didn't know what was going on with the Twitter. And I'm reading that and going, how? How can you not know what's going on with the other? It's the same cons. I understand it's two different social media platforms, but how can one not know what's going on with the other? That seemed, again, really shady to me. But then Cynthia said that the hacker removed another co-creator and her from the page, changed the email address, changed the password, and then she went on to threaten to deactivate all the accounts, period, once she got control back of the accounts. So this was just a big old mess. But it doesn't, nor should it, ignore from the fact that, again, everybody is bringing up the fact about the charity money. Everybody's bringing this up, and that yes, this happened. And then another Twitter user, Ginger Crisp, came out and said, yeah, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia has no record of ever receiving a donation from Pony Corp and FillyCon. They have no record of it. So this is just a big old mess. And I don't know what it means. I don't know what the resolution is going to be from this, if anything. I mean, like I said, it's a dead convention that clearly has no reason of ever coming back if this stuff is going on, if these shady dealings are happening, if accounts are getting hacked, if blame of he said, she said is going on, if or what have you. And the creators of the convention willy-nilly spend $7,000 that was supposed to go to charity. It's just no, that there's no reason why why they should be involved in a convention ever again, quite frankly, in my honest opinion. But I guess the bigger question then is, why is this coming out now? Like, why, like, who's behind the hacking? What is their motive? Why are they hacking it now? Was their aim to hack the account to get the truth out of somebody? That could very well be the case, to get the truth out of what happened at FillyCon, to get that story out. You know, that could certainly be their reasoning and their stance. Nothing confirmed on that. I'm just speculating here, but that could certainly be the case. To have a vendetta against somebody, against the organizers of the con for what they did, and then all these people corroborating that and saying, yeah, that happened. So maybe the hacker got what he or she wanted out of all this, and claimed the con to be a huge giant fraud in that regard. So who knows? All I know is that it is one big mess. It is a big, downhill thing. So clearly it's not going to come back unless it's run by completely different people that have a better sense of how to run conventions. But clearly it's a black mark. It's another rough patch, but I hope. Again, I don't know how at the end it's going to be resolved, if any. But here's hoping that some form of justice is done, that something good comes out of this, because right now clearly it's all nothing but bad. For what I've seen on social media regarding this. So just here's hoping that there's some closure in some way that can make all this right. That there's just something positive that can come out of a very, very, very negative situation, because that's not a good look on us as a fandom. It's not a good look for them. It's not a good look for anybody, unless they find a way to completely rectify that situation. So I don't know how it's going to go about. I don't know how it's going to get done, but I'm going to keep monitoring it. I'm going to keep, reading on it and seeing what comes out of it, if anything. So I will definitely keep checking on that for sure. But here's hoping something good comes out of that, because that's just one big old mess. All right, next pony-related story. As everyone is well aware, as I've said, as I've always shown, I adore the Student Six. I have ever since they came on the scene in season 8. Hello. They eventually earned the spot on the wall right below the main 6. And I am a firm believer in the fact that I feel like, whether they become more of a focus in Gen 5 or not, I feel like if any spinoff comes from Gen 4, don't you think it should be about those guys? Seriously, real talk. Like, I firmly believe that they deserve a spinoff of some kind, because, and to me, and like I said, to me, there's 5 major reasons why. And, and again, one minor reason is because, again, I've talked about it, and I mentioned it at panel, main 6 burnout. I know that in some ways there's still a couple things they can do with them, but not really a whole lot. We know them really well now. We know, where they've gone and everything they've accomplished and the arc that they've taken. Their arc is pretty much almost running dry. We've only seen these guys for like these guys, for like a season and a half, not even a season and a half yet, not even 2 seasons. I feel like, there needs to be more there. So here's why. Here's my 5 big reasons. So, and that's the first reason. We've only known them for 1.5, not even 1.5, soon to be 2 seasons. I think they need more to their story arc. We need to see a little more development. Yes, we know a little bit about each of their characters, but there's so much more that we can delve into on each of them. There's so many more stories, I think, that can be told about each one. Now again, I'll mention 5 of them because the 6th one is another reason. But why is Gallus claustrophobic? I've always wondered that. Where did that fear come from? How did that develop? That would be, I think, an episode in and of itself as to how that came about. We've seen a little bit with Silverstream and the Hippogriffs, like with Surf and Turf, but maybe an episode to reunite her with, and we saw again a brief, clip of that in Uprooted, but maybe more seeing a relationship between her and Terramar. I would love to see that. Where was, and again, I mentioned this before too, but Ocellus's role in the Changeling Kingdom, was it a big role? Was it, because considering how smart she is, what was her, why was she so scared of going back to Chris? Why was she Chrysalis and What Lies Beneath? That always had me wondering. That would be something to explore. We've seen a lot of the Yak Kingdom, but again, there's got to be maybe some more stories we know about Yona and her place in the kingdom. And of course, with Smolder in the Dragonlands, I would love to hear stories about what she did in the Dragonlands. I'd love to see that. So I feel like there's so many different directions that they can take them and lead to more stories. So that's one big reason. But 2 is the 6th member, and I've mentioned him so many times. My questions about Sambar need to be answered. Like, I have so many questions about him. My odd feelings regarding him, his parents' involvement. Why don't we see them very often? His times where his mind just doesn't seem right. His behavior in Uprooted, like, what is his deal? Like, I don't know. I got to figure out some more with him, because I feel like there's just so many missing pieces to his character, to his story arc, to his development. There's so much that needs to be explored with him. So that's the second big reason why there needs to be a spinoff. Number 3, and this is also a big one. Are they really still going to have a role at the school going forward? Now, obviously, from what we gathered in the premiere, Starlight is going to take over the school and everything like that. So she's going to be now the head mare at the school. So she's graduating since Twilight's taking over Equestria, she's going to now go from guidance counselor to head mare. But the students, according to Twilight, they're not graduates yet. So we don't know, what their role, if anything, is going to be. Are they going to be maybe tutors that Starlight, are they going to be now teachers themselves? What is their role going to be? Or are they going to start something completely new now that they have the Treehouse of Harmony? That's an interesting question to see. So I feel like if that doesn't get answered in season 9, then there needs to be an answer of that further on down the line with this spinoff. So that's the third reason. Number 4, and again, this is a big one. Based on what the main 6 have done, the student 6 need to create their own legacy. And honestly, they are starting to do that a bit. The more that we see them, the more we learn about them, and the more they interact with each other. But they really, really need to carve it out. And that kind of goes along with the first point, that we haven't seen them for very long, but they need to eventually have their own story to tell. I mean, the main 6, for gosh sakes, they even did it. They can write a whole book on what they've done. I want that to happen for the students as well. I want them to have their own legacy. And again, that kind of ties into the last reason, and I'll mention that. But I want them to have their own legacy, their own sense of closure when it's all said and done, because that goes into reason number 5 why they need a spinoff. I don't feel like they're going, like the student 6, the main 6 will probably get a proper ending in season 9. I don't think the students will. I think Hasbro is probably going to make it pretty clear, and I think it's what we would want as the fandom, that I think we would want the main 6 plus Spike plus maybe even Starlight to go out strong. The students, I don't think are going to get that closure, and maybe they won't because a spinoff hopefully would be coming, and that might be a reason. But I don't think they're going to get that closure because it's going to be mainly about closing the main 6's story and closing that group. So that's why also I feel like that the students, need to keep on keeping on and have their own story, their own legacy, their own experiences carved out in some way after season 9, after Gen 4 ends. I just feel like I hate to use the word unfair, but I feel like it would kind of be that for just to only have the students be there for a couple of seasons and that's it, and not have more of them after the fact. That's why I think, because for those 5 big reasons, the fact that we've only known them for a little bit, Sandbar, what their role is going to be going forward, the fact they need to create their own legacy, and the fact they need a proper ending and closure. I think those are the 5 reasons I think they need their own spinoff after Gen 4 ends. And again, whether they're going to be a focus in Gen 5 and then do they do it that way, or whether they get their own thing. There needs to be something, I think. I think there needs to be more with these characters going forward, because I've embraced them so much, and I never thought that I would like them almost more than the main 6, if not on the same line. But like I said, it's getting there. They've grown that fast, and it's just, I feel like they need more. Period. They need more to really. I don't know how to put it, but they just need more. That's really what I'm trying to get at. We need to see more from them, and I hope that happens at some point down the line. Okay, let's talk. We'll move on here a bit. Let's delve into some sports-related stuff. Let's talk a little bit about the NFL draft that was held last month in Nashville, Tennessee. And by the way, I have to mention with that, Nashville, and I already knew this because I went to Nashville 3 years ago as part of NHL All-Star Weekend, and that was a fun trip in and of itself. But the draft just further showed it. Nashville knows how to throw a bucking party, okay? No joke. Record crowds turned up. They killed it. Yeah, most watched draft right here. Record Nashville crowd. The most watched and the highest rated draft in history. Greater than 600,000 fans. That is incredible. That is absolutely amazing. Across all 3 channels and digital, it combined for a 3.9 rating and an average of 6.1 million viewers. Across all Nielsen measured channels, the telecast combined to reach more than 47.5 million viewers over 3 days, which was up 5% from 2018. That is absolutely incredible. So, yeah, that was just absolutely insane. I'm going to talk about the teams that I follow and what I think they got out of the draft. So let me pull these up here. Teams. The Arizona Cardinals, I really like what the Cardinals did. I'm pretty happy with their draft. Obviously it starts at the top with Kyler Murray. That was no surprise. The quarterback out of Oklahoma, Heisman Trophy winner, playmaker. He's going to come right in, be the guy, and clearly now he is because, my first thought when the Cardinals drafted Kyler Murray was, okay, well, now what's going to happen to Josh Rosen? Is he going to get to compete? Or is he going to be, let go or traded? Well, sure enough, we found out later that he was traded to the Miami Dolphins. So now he gets a chance to compete in Miami with Ryan Fitzpatrick. And Murray gets to be the guy in this air raid offense with Cliff Kingsbury. I'm hoping to see what's going to happen. I know it's still going to be a challenge for Arizona in this first season with them, especially considering how strong the Rams still are. San Francisco's going to be better with Jimmy G coming back. And Seattle, even though they lost a couple big pieces with Doug Baldwin and Cam Chancellor being released due to failed physicals, still got Russell Wilson got paid, highest paid quarterback now in the NFL. So they're still going to be a tough out, maybe not as good as in previous years, but they're still going to be a tough challenge. So it's going to be interesting to see how Arizona competes in the NFC West. But They gave Murray some nice weapons. They got a really fast guy from UMass, Andy Isabella, the wide receiver. Another guy at Iowa State, and Hakeem Butler. Another wide receiver out of Fresno State, and Keyshawn Johnson, not spelled the same as the other Keyshawn Johnson, spelled differently. They also got another tight end at UCLA in round 7, Caleb Wilson. They also got some offensive line protection. They got a center from Georgia, Lamont Gaylord, in round 6, a tackle out of Morgan State in round 7. And then a lot of the other picks were their defensive end guys or secondary guys, and they definitely need help in the secondary. Byron Murphy out of Washington, I like that pick. He's going to be, I think, coming in right away and making an impact. Zach Allen, the DE from Boston, defensive end from Boston College. Deontay Thompson, the safety from Alabama. And then Michael Dogba, the defensive end out of Temple. So I really like the Cardinals draft. I think I'm going to give that a solid A-. I think they filled a lot they filled pretty much all the needs that they had: corner, D-line, O-line, tight end, wide receiver. They filled all those needs. So the Cardinals had a very, very solid draft, and I'm hoping to see big things from the Cardinals. Maybe not right away this season, but especially further on down the line. Let's go to the Lions. I love the Lions' first-round pick. I loved the first-round pick of T.J. Hawkinson, the tight end from Iowa. They lost Eric Ebron to the Colts. Tight end really wasn't a big thing for them, but this guy, I watched him play at Iowa. He's a great blocker as well, but he also can make big plays in the red zone, so he's going to be a huge threat right away. I love that pick. And then they got their typical Lions guys. Their next several picks were all defensive guys. Jelani Tabai, the linebacker from Hawaii. William Harris, the safety from Boston College. Austin Bryant, the defensive end from Clemson. For him to fall to them in the 4th round, that's a steal. I was very surprised that Detroit got him in the 4th round. For him to fall right in their laps, that was huge. So that was a big pick. Amani Urarie, the corner from Penn State. And then they also got later P.J. Johnson, the defensive tackle from Arizona. So big things on the defensive side, but the Lions definitely needed to work on the defense. The D-line for sure. And then they also later got a wide receiver. They got Travis Fulgham from Old Dominion. Also got another running back, Ty Johnson from Maryland. And they did get another tight end, Isaac Nada from Georgia. So they definitely addressed the tight end position, which was huge. But mainly defense, which I expected from the Lions. So, again, I'm pretty happy here with the Lions class. They filled they didn't really address the O-line. So that's a bit of a concern because they could use some help along the offensive line. So for now, I'll probably give the Lions at least a solid B+ because they addressed most of their needs. They could have done some help with the O-line, but they really need to address the defense, and they did that. So not a bad draft. Texans, I don't know if I was really thrilled with the Texans draft, although, their big thing was offensive line. Again, more protection for Deshaun Watson. And they did do that with two of their 7 picks. They didn't really have a whole lot of picks, which is quite surprising. So they really didn't do a whole lot. Then they didn't do anything at wide receiver, which was a bit of a concern. Yeah, they have DeAndre Hopkins, but Will Fuller's health is always a question mark. Same with Kiki Cutie. I mean, their wide receivers behind Hopkins couldn't stay healthy. So I thought they'd at least address the wide receiver spot. They didn't. They did address the running back spot. They got Colin Gillespie from Texas A&M, which was a nice pickup. But they got a couple tackles, Titus Howard from Alabama State, Max Sharping from Northern Illinois to help Watson on the O-line. They got a couple corners, which is always huge to have help in the secondary. Lonnie Johnson from Kentucky, Xavier Crawford from Central Michigan. They got a tight end from San Diego State, Kahali Waring, and then they got a defensive end from Texas, Charles Omenihu. So decent, not totally off the board. I'm going to give, considering they didn't go after all their needs, they gave a little bit, but I'm going to give them for now at least a C+ maybe. I mean, it's a step in the right direction, but they didn't really address all their needs. I think the Texans could have done a little bit more to address some of their needs. So, granted, they're coming off first place in the AFC South, but the South gets tougher every single year, and Jacksonville's going to be better this year now that Nick Foles is there and Fournette's back healthy. Tennessee is getting maybe a little bit better every year, but they still have a lot of question marks defensively. The Colts are always good, but they made some questionable moves this offseason, and with windows kind of closing, Kansas City and New England doing well. So it's still there for the taking for Houston, but I don't think that explains why they didn't do a whole lot in the draft. So speaking of the Colts, I think this class, explains why Chris Ballard did not do a whole lot in free agency in the offseason. Like, he had the most salary cap money of any team to spend, and he only used it on 2 guys. Devin Funchess, wide receiver, formerly of Carolina, Justin Houston, the linebacker, formerly of Kansas City. So that's all that they did in the offseason. But then after that, Chris Ballard crushed the draft. This to me is AA+ class. Like, the Colts to me had one of the best drafts, period. Rock Ya-Sin, the cornerback from Temple, he's a hard-hitting speedster. Like, that pick for him to fall at 34 in round 2 was huge. Same with getting Ben Benogu from TCU. As you guys know, I'm a TCU guy, and I watch plenty of the Frogs games. Coming off the edge, he is a freak. So that was a huge pick for the Colts. And then later that same round to get Paris Campbell, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, who I watched in person at the Big Ten title game down in Lucas Oil against when Ohio State played Northwestern. Oh my gosh! I mean, he makes the big catches, goes up, gets the ball, runs great routes. That was a huge get for the Colts. Then they get a solid linebacker in round 3, Okereke from Stanford. Then Kari Willis, the safety from Michigan State, in round 4, for him to fall into their laps there was huge. another safety, Marvell Tell from USC. The Colts always trying to shore up that secondary. Then they get a linebacker in round 5, EJ Speed out of Tarleton State. Round 6, another edge rusher, Jerry Green from Mississippi State. And then they get help along the line. Always good to protect Andrew Luck. Getting Jackson Barton from Utah and Javon Patterson from Ole Miss. So, yeah, picture perfect draft by Chris Ballard. Absolutely incredible. Great, great stuff. Let's see. What else? Who am I missing? Oh, Miami. Dolphins. I mean, obviously, getting Rosen was huge. Again, the Dolphins really didn't do a whole lot, and they had a lot of needs. Corner, D-line, O-line. They got quarterback addressed with the trade, but quarterback, D-line, O-line, wide receiver, they really didn't do, except for the D-line and the O-line, they didn't do any of that. They got a couple running backs. Again, I'm not sure why that is when you have Kenyon Drake there. Frank Gore was a compliment last year, but I guess maybe for depth purposes. But, I didn't understand those picks. I like the Christian Wilkins pick in round 1, the DT from Clemson. He's going to be big on the line. Also, round 5, getting Van Ginkel from Wisconsin. And they got 2 Big Ten offensive line guys, Michael Dieter from Wisconsin, Isaiah Prince from Ohio State. Those were huge picks. And then they got a couple running backs in round 7, Chandler Cox from Auburn and Myles Gaskin from Washington. Was surprised he fell that far. So I'm going to say for the Fins, B-. I mean, they could have done a lot more, again, addressing those other needs, but for the most part, it's okay. We'll eventually see how everything pans out, but decent, but I think they could have done a little more, kind of like Houston. And then finally, Seattle. I think Seattle did some really nice things too. I think Seattle, knew what they were going to lose. They knew they had a lot of picks to work with, and they addressed a lot of their needs. Gave Russell Wilson some solid new weapons. More help along the line, more help along the defensive line, more help in the secondary. They covered a lot of what they needed and got some really good guys. This is another A class. Like this is really good because a lot of these guys fit the mold. These are Seattle guys. Like they really fit the mold. Like Lawrence Collier, the defensive end from TCU, again, a TCU guy. I know LJ Collier, really solid football player. Marquise Blair, the safety from Utah, again, helping the secondary. DK Metcalf from Ole Miss. I loved that pick. Falling all the way to like the last pick of round 2 is a steal for Seattle, especially when the news came out that Baldwin wasn't going to be able to play anymore because of all those surgeries. That was a huge get for Seattle. So he's going to be a big-time weapon, I feel, for Russell Wilson. Then they got another linebacker out of Utah, Cody Barton. Then you got Gary Jennings, another wide receiver out of West Virginia. Got help on the offensive line by getting Phil Haynes from Wake Forest. Got a great corner from Oregon in Ugo Amadi. They got another great linebacker from in-state from Washington, Ben Burke-Kirven. Travis Homer, the running back from Miami. DeMarcus Christmas, the defensive tackle from Florida State. And then getting John Ursua, the wide receiver out of Hawaii. Plenty of weapons for Russell Wilson. Great help along the defensive line. Great help in the secondary. Yeah, that's an A class for the Seahawks. They covered all their needs. Big A home run from the Seattle Seahawks, absolutely. So Indy I liked, Seattle I liked, Arizona I liked. Houston could have done a little better. Miami could have done a little better. Who am I missing? Detroit did some nice things again. Maybe they could have done a little bit better too, but they did decent. So 3 that were really good, 3 that were okay could have done better. Not really. I don't think really any of those 6 did anything really bad. So I was all right. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with what my teams got at the end of the day. All right. Moving on. Next topic. Let's talk about the reason why I couldn't do a stream last week. Because I was making a couple trips up to a place that I have been wanting to go for a long time. Pretty much ever since it was announced that they were actually getting a physical building. Because this was, for the longest time, this was an online only thing for the first pretty much 3 years or pretty much, 11 years of its existence. There were 3 induction classes, but pretty much the first 11 years of its existence, it was all online, and they had no physical entity, physical building. But until the mayor of a town not too far from me, about 2 hours northwest of me, in Whiting, Indiana, decided, hey, we want to bring this to our city. And Dave Raymond, who is the original Philly fanatic, said, okay, well, we'll see if we can make this work. And now here we are a few years later, and the Mascot Hall of Fame is finally a reality in terms of a physical building in Whiting, Indiana. And this could not be more perfect for me because I've been to a lot of Hall of Fames throughout my life. I have. I enjoyed the College Football Hall of Fame when it was up in South Bend, not too far from me either, but then they moved it to Atlanta. But I did go there when it was in South Bend. I've been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. I've been to the Hockey Hall of Fame way up north in Toronto, Canada. So I have been, fortunate to be able to go to a lot of different Hall of Fames, but they've usually been far away from me. Well, now I've been a Mascot fan for years, really mainly since 05, 06, when it really started picking up for me. I started following them more, like on Twitter and what have you, and really getting into them and supporting the profession. And lo and behold, it ends up 2 hours from me away in Whiting. It was like, wow, that could not have been any more perfect. So I eventually had to find a time and a day and a time to actually make it work where I could get up there and check it out. And last week, I had 2 days off last week, and on Tuesday, the 7th, I went up there with Matt, who you guys have seen on other shows before, like on the Fantasy Show when we had the Fantasy Football Soccer Report running. And we went up there, and it was just, it is absolutely incredible. I mean, it's basically what it is it's half Hall of Fame, half interactive activities. Like, yes, it is mainly kid-oriented, but adults can have just as much fun there as well. Like, you're also learning about the craft. You're learning about what it takes to be a mascot. You're learning science behind all of it. There's different, there's so many different, exhibits and things to do, activities to do in there. But while you can also learn about all the inductees. Right now there are, I want to say 21 inductees right now in the hall. 4 classes. There was one in 05, one in 06, one in 07, and then just recently the one from 2017 is actually going to be have an induction ceremony this year now in the physical building next month in June that I'm hoping I can attend, as I posted on my Twitter video. If you guys saw that from the hall that I went to on Friday. I'm really hoping. I have put in the request off for the Saturday where they're actually going to do the ceremony and have the meet and greets to meet the mascots. So I'm hoping that I get the day off to go, because I want to see it. I want to meet more, because I've said this year I want to hit number 50. I'm at 49 mascots that I've met in person. I'm hoping to hit past 50 this year, and I'm hoping, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. I'm hoping it happens at the hall. So I'm hoping that, but it's so fun. If you're a family and you've got kids and you're just wanting something fun to do, a fun museum / interactive attraction, check it out. It is absolutely amazing. There's a $12 price tag for admission, but it's worth it Also, though, if you want to save on that and save on other things and get invitees to other events, get a membership. Individual membership is only $35, and that's good for one whole year. You get complimentary admission for an entire year at the hall, and you get 2 guest passes to use one time, and you get a 10% discount at the gift shop, and you also get invites to the special events like the induction ceremony next month. And coming soon, you'll also get the Mascot Hall of Fame newsletter. It's going to be being put together very soon. So many benefits and just so much, and saves you money, but especially if you make a lot of trips. But I had the, and it was just so great. Like, being there on Tuesday was just like, I mean, the weather was kind of rough on Tuesday. It was, it was misty, it was gray, it was windy, it was yuck, it was terrible. And I wrestled all along, like, what Mascot jersey I was going to wear. And I wore my Thunderbug jersey, my white one, on Tuesday because Thunderbug, didn't get me into liking mascots. Like, he wasn't the first, but he was the first one I met from the professional level. Like, he was the first, well, not counting Boomer. But he was the first one I met in Nashville to the NHL, and I was in my Lightning gear, and I still think that's fate to this day, and I will always believe that. So I felt like I had to, give back to that moment. And then Friday, when I took Nate and Sarah down, or down but up, I guess, up to Whiting, when I took them on Friday, I wore my Royals gear because Slugger, the Royals mascot, got inducted. It was in the 2017 class, and he's going to be inducted with the other members of his class next month in June, that being the Nittany Lion from Penn State, Benny the Bull from Chicago Bulls, and unfortunately, to my chagrin, Tommy Hawk from the Blackhawks, who I'm not a big fan of because I have some personal reasons why. But it's going to be a fun time, and it's just a fun place. It's a place to have fun. That's the big thing I got out of it. And you learn about all the inductees, you learn about their quirks and what they do, and see what all they do for their teams and their communities and all that fun stuff, and that's neat to see. But you also get to do these neat exhibits, see what it's like from their perspective. You practice shooting a T-shirt cannon, for gosh sake. That's fun. You get to learn about the history, the timeline of mascots in general. There's so many different artifacts from so many other mascots. Mascots aren't even in the hall. There's artifacts from the coolest thing that I saw. Two cool things that I saw was there was the jersey. Okay, never mind. 3 things, and they're all baseball related. One was the jersey, the hat, and the shoes that Dinger from the Colorado Rockies actually wore when he was hatched. Like when he hatched out of this big egg, and there's also a piece of his egg that he hatched out of when he was first created for the Rockies. So that blew my mind. When I saw that, I'm like, that was my reaction. Like, that was just, oh my gosh, it's Dinger! Like, that was just so cool. Let's see. One other one. I mentioned Slugger. His World Series ring, like made out of like the plush and what have you. You'll see some mascots sometimes have a Stanley Cup ring, like Slapshot had from the Capitals, or Swoop from the Eagles had one, or what have you, or they'll actually have rings. The Slugger's World Series ring that he wore after they won in 2015, the Royals won the title, was in there, and I'm like, wow, that's cool. I gotta get a picture of that. I took plenty of pictures of Slugger in there, by the way. And then the other one that kind of blew my mind, the roller skates that the Mariner Moose wore when his stunt went wrong, when he broke his ankle running into the padded wall, they're in there too. Like, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I remember when that happened. Like, I don't remember watching it like live, but I remember seeing later videos of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. But they're in there too. So there's just the artifacts, the fun exhibits, and of course you can't miss over your head as soon as you walk in the door, the inflatable heads above of all the inductees that are in the hall. absolutely amazing. So, and there's like 8 touchscreen kiosks around the second floor where you can touch the screen. You can learn about each of the inductees. Now, the only one, unfortunately, you won't see that is inducted in the hall but doesn't have his plaque, doesn't have a thing on the kiosk, is the San Diego Chicken. And that's because the person that portrays him wanted nothing to do with the hall. Like he didn't even want to be he wanted no part of it. He didn't want anything of him in the hall, and that's a shame because he is one of the most iconic and was really one of the first to be a mascot. Like he was one of the very well known. Granted, he was unofficial because the Padres really did, I don't think, fully embrace him as their official mascot, but that's where he did a lot of his performing work in San Diego. So for gosh sakes, he's called the San Diego Chicken. So it's unfortunate that he didn't want to be recognized for all the hard work and the time and the hours that he put in the hall. It's unfortunate. So, but people make their choices. If they don't want to be recognized, then okay, they don't have to be. So, but all in all, guys, I became a member. I want to give back and I want to support. I've been a fan long enough. I want to support the mission of this facility. I want to embrace what these characters do. I've always believed that, the way I'm passionate for, living life and in so many different things and interests, my passion, I'm trying to be, when I'm at a sporting event, I'm trying to be like one of the loudest fans in the stands. The mascots are showing their passion and they're trying to be the biggest cheerleaders, on the playing field or on the ice surface or wherever. So I feel like there's a correlation between us, that we have the same level of passion and intensity and energy. And I just feel whenever I'm around them, I just feel that positive energy and I feel that passion and I feel that, it just puts a smile on my face. And that's why I'm so endeared to them, and I've grown more endeared to them over the years, and I have these memorable experiences with them, like the one in like the time in Nashville, or when I went to the Mascot Pee Wee game in Carmel the past 2 years, which unfortunately, according to Blitz, the Seahawks mascot on Instagram, is unfortunately not happening this summer, which is a complete bummer. So I'm gonna miss not seeing some of my NFL mascot friends this summer in Carmel. That sucks. But I didn't get a reason why. No reason is given why. I even reached out to Blue, messaged him on Twitter, and I said, hey, can you give me a reason why it's not happening this summer? I haven't heard back. I don't know if you can disclose the reason why or not, or just someone didn't want to tell me. I don't know. But it's unfortunate because I really loved that event. I loved interacting and meeting with so many different NFL mascots there, with Blue and with Toro. Man, I got such a big hug from Toro last year. It was one of the coolest moments I've had. It was just, and all the times I've interacted with Blitz have been awesome. Just with Rampage, just so many different ones. Miles from the Broncos, we had a cool fist bump moment last year in the autograph line. Just those little neat moments that has just been so cool to experience. So I'm going to miss that this summer. I really am. But instead, hey, I get a chance maybe to be at the induction ceremony instead. So, hey, maybe it pans out. So I don't know. But no, I got to go there twice in a span of 4 days, which was awesome. It's starting to even feel like a second home already. It's just so neat, you guys. It's so much fun. And again, it's for kids. It's mainly for kids, but it's for adults too. Because, hey, adults are kids at heart, right? Some of us are. And I have been for the majority of my life, and that will probably never change. For gosh sakes, I like a show that was mainly aimed at kids. I mean, it's I collect plushies. I mean, it's I don't think the kid at heart aspect of me is ever going to change. So yeah. It's a fun place, and I got a lot of neat stuff. I got this very cool bobblehead of Reggie. Reggie, the purple party dude. He's the mascot of the Mascot Hall of Fame. That's right. So this, I had to get this. I put him right here next to my bobblehead of Sharky from the San Jose Sharks. That one I won in a contest. Actually, I'm sure I've shown it on the show before. Let's see what else. Oh, I got a hat and shirt of Whiting, Indiana. I actually did get my second trip there. I did get a shirt that says Mascot Hall of Fame on it, so I do have a shirt now. Oh, and one other thing. I got to show you this. I got this really cool hat, and it's like mascot hair. Like, I don't know. Should I wear this for the rest of the show instead? There we go. There we go. I'll wear this for the rest of the show. So there you go. So yes, with goofy, silly mascot hair. Although surprisingly, it matches my OC, which I guess maybe that's why I gravitated toward it, because it matches my OC's blue and purple color. So I think that's why I gravitated towards it. So there you go. But no, it's fun, you guys. It's such a neat place. Go check it out if you're in the area, even if you're not in the area. If you want to make a drive, family drive, road trip, have something to do, check it out. They are open 10 to 6 most days, except for Sunday when they're only open until 5, and then Thursday nights actually stay open later for other activities until 8 p.m. So if you want to be there a little bit later in the night on a Thursday, check it out on Thursday night. So it's fun. And the even neater thing is they have like 6 different stations, and you have like an exam book, and you then go through each of the stations and you get it stamped. And then once you have each of those 6 stamped, you get a prize at the end. So that's again more geared toward the kids. But still fun things for adults to experience as well. So very, very cool. I'm getting now mascot hair over everything. I guess that's the only drawback from wearing this hat, is that now I'm getting hair over everything. That's all right. We'll make do. Let's go into some life stuff. Let's talk a little about life stuff. I saw a movie recently, so now I'm up to 3 movies now I've seen in 2019. Yes, because 2 on DVD, and now this was the first movie I actually got to see in theaters this year. And honestly, it was originally one that I really didn't plan to see in theater until I saw the trailer for it actually at my job on the TV wall at Walmart. Where they kept showing the trailer for it, and it looked really interesting to me. And that movie was UglyDolls. And now I know that movie, now bear with me here, I know that movie's gotten a lot of flack for not being very good. But here's the thing again with me. I'm kind of in the minority when it comes to a lot of films. You're looking at somebody who liked the Emoji Movie and could relate to it. So again, my movie taste is very different from a lot of people. So yeah, I saw the trailer, and it reminded me a lot of Emoji Movie in a way, because of the fact that it was about embracing who you are and being yourself, and and kind of in a way, it was kind of like, it kind of maybe tied along to episode 5, hint hint, with the point of no return, about this, not striving for perfection. It's a fruitless pursuit, really, is what it is. And I was not expecting to see this movie. The 2 movies I've seen on DVD so far are the new Pokemon movie that came out, and Bumblebee, which I was supposed to see last year, didn't get a chance to see it. By the way, really good. Pokemon movie, average at best. but I was not expecting even, I didn't know this movie existed until I saw the trailer on TV. So I was hoping earlier this year to see How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World. Haven't seen it yet. Going to be coming out on DVD, I think, next week. So need to get that. And I will, though, be seeing Detective Pikachu here at some point very soon. I've read very good reviews on Detective Pikachu, and I've been wanting to see it. So maybe, sometime, maybe this coming Friday, I'll go see Detective Pikachu, and I'll definitely let you guys know how that movie is, and see if all its hype is what it's supposed to be, and if it lives up to the hype. But with Ugly Dolls, again, a movie I didn't even know about, did not even give it a thought to until I saw the trailer. And the first thing that got to me was like the voice cast. Like what this is there's a story being told here, but it's also a musical. And the main voice actors are like all big musicians. Kelly Clarkson plays the lead role. Blake Shelton is in this. And you got a couple other comedians like Gabriel Iglesias, Wanda Sykes is in this. And Pitbull is Ugly Dog. And I then immediately when I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh my gosh, for a voice cast as good as this, like, how can this movie be bad? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, okay, you got a great voice cast, it's a musical, there's a story being told. How can this, why is it not getting a lot more hype? And people, and from every other reviewer I saw, everyone thought it was very bland, but I didn't think that. I can relate in a lot of ways to this movie. Like, I sometimes still have to be reminded that, I don't need to be perfect, or I don't need to be a certain way to, be accepted by people. Like, when I was younger, like, and I mentioned this on Twitter, like, I struggled with that a lot. Like, I would sometimes really be depressed or just in a state of, am I good enough for people? Like, because I wasn't trying to be popular. I didn't feel like I need to be popular to get friends. Like, I wanted friends that respected me for who I was and who I am. And to this day, I still believe that way. I don't feel like I need to be a different person or strive for perfection to gain friends. I would feel really, with my moral and ethics standards, I would feel really, really bad if I had to change myself to gain friendship. Like, and that's not what the show teaches you either. Prime example, one of my favorite songs from the show, Flawless, from Fame and Misfortune. Hello. Teaches you right there, stop thinking that we're perfect. Stop thinking that, we need to be perfect to be your friend or to be who we are. That's not how we ended up in this. We've got flaws, we've got dents, we've got quirks, but you know what? That's what brought us together. And the students even said the same thing when they built the Treehouse of Harmony. It's a bunch of all mashed up parts in Silverstream. It's just like us. That's the truth. That's how it's supposed to work. And so I really could relate to this movie. So I gave this movie 5 stars. And it was like the 51st movie I've given 5 stars. But the only reason is, like, I could relate to it. Like, movies I can relate to, movies that have a good story, good characters, good cast, good plot, or paced well. Those are the movies I give 5 stars to. And this was one of them. So here's my full review that I typed out. I didn't post it anywhere, but I keep track of my reviews. So here's my full review for this. Essentially, this 83-minute ride, sadly noted by Wanda Sykes' character at the end, is Emoji Movie 2.0 without the focus on just one character. This is the song Flawless from My Little Pony without the "we're a work in progress" line. Accepting your flaws for what they are and embracing your true self as true perfection. I cannot get enough of movies like this. I didn't even know this movie existed until I saw a trailer for it on the TV wall at Walmart, and I looked at it and thought to myself, that actually looks interesting. I may have to check that out. Once again, I'm glad I did because Ugly Dolls isn't an ugly movie. It's straight up perfect and beautiful in every way. Yes, it helps when a movie like this has a star-studded A-list voice cast, mostly of talented artists and musicians. Kelly Clarkson is the optimistic never give up Moxie. Oh, excuse me. Should probably bring these over when I'm talking about this. Blake Shelton as Ox, the mayor of Uglyville who always keeps the party and the good vibes going. Pitbull as Ugly Dog, who I fell in love with right away for his upbeat attitude and personality. Seriously, this character is Pitbull to a T. These are the only two I got because I found them like my favorites from the whole movie. Wanda Sykes' Wage, a baker who goes against Moxie's ridiculous ways before you find out a truth about her in the end you didn't expect. Even Gabriel Iglesias as I think either like Bobo or Bofo, some weird name like that. The jack of all trades also provides comic relief in his own unique way. But when Moxie keeps hoping that today is the day, also a song from the film, and before you ask, yes, I bought the soundtrack. I had to. The day that she will go to the big world and be forever linked with a child, Ox and the residents try to remind her what could be better than this. And eventually, when Moxie takes advice from her friend Lucky Bat the wrong way, the adventure begins as she takes Ugly Dog, Lucky, Bobo, and Wage along for the ride. And they eventually end up at this Institute of Perfection, and it's headed by Nick Jonas's character, Lou, who's been the leader for years and whose sole goal is to give these perfect dolls to the human world. But when he stumbles upon our five heroes, he reveals another song, The Ugly Truth, another great song, that they're not going to make it. But this is when Moxie starts to stand up for herself, and she insists on going through the same training as everyone else. And the group meets Mandy, who's played also wonderfully by another singer, Janelle Monáe, a female doll that, unbeknownst to Lou, isn't perfect. She can't see without glasses. But the training begins, and of course our heroes are put through the ringer and the washing machine multiple times. Lou knows that they won't give up on their quest, so he decides to send some of his subjects, also known as spies, to Uglyville to kidnap Ox and bring him back to perfection. The day of the final test, also known as the Gauntlet, the Uglies get prettied up, or should I say, with the song, all dolled up, with the help of Mandy. But then Lou reveals more hard truths, and no matter what they do, they can't survive the Gauntlet. And when Ox himself even breaks the really hard truth, this got me almost crying, by the way, that somehow he ended up in perfection and Lou looked out for him before he started hurting on his chances of making it, Lou showed him what they really were, rejects. Ox and Lou are truly trying to protect Moxie and her friends the whole time, but it's a reality that Moxie can't face, and she flees. The dolls all head back to Uglyville, defeated, now knowing the truth. But Mandy herself then comes to town and tells Moxie they need to take that final test. And then my favorite song in the movie. Unbreakable is my favorite song in the movie. Contrary to what you might think, yeah, they hype up Broken and Beautiful. It's not in the movie until the final credits. So be wary of that. Unbreakable, though, to me is the best song in the whole movie. And Moxie's spirit is renewed from that. But not before Lou and his spies then capture him and threaten to put him in recycling, which Lou has reopened. However, Ox tries to make amends with Moxie, but then finds out what happened, and that re-energizes the entire town to not only save them, but then escape themselves and cheer them on as they attempt the gauntlet. Lou, of course, is not surprised to see them at all. And heck, he even says, hey, I'll run it myself. I don't need to win. I just have to have them lose. So Lou then tries to sabotage everyone else. The Uglies then save their perfection opposites. And Lou and Moxie are right at the end. And they're in the clutches of this robot baby. And Lou screws up. Crowd gasps. Moxie, though, shows that true love and compassion, calms it down, and she and her friends win. And then I really don't want to spoil the whole rest at the end because I think that, that I don't think I'll save until you guys. I don't want to give the ending because the ending is amazing. So that I'll save. But I'll say this. After seeing this masterpiece, I always remind myself that perfection is fleeting. Perfection shouldn't be what you strive for in this world because you're perfect just the way you are. And I'm holding my plushies a little tighter from now on because they always remind me that a little love never hurts either. So just a really good movie, you guys. I was just so impressed with it. So, yeah, I liked it. Contrary to most people think, I liked it. And I love movies like that. So I don't think I'll get tired of those kind of movies. All right, we're almost hang in there, guys. I know we're like an hour and 15 minutes through now, but hang in there. The talks are coming. So we're almost there. One more story I want to share with you guys, although I do want to share a little bit of convention news as well. 2020, we did get confirmation that I think, what was the one that we got confirmation for? I know there's a couple that have confirmed 2020 dates. HarmonyCon is one. I'm surprised, honestly, that HarmonyCon is coming back. Oh, I think it was BabsCon. BabsCon, I think, confirmed their dates for 2020, and HarmonyCon did as well. So it's coming back to Dallas. I was quite surprised. I thought that whole thing that happened with the swatting thing for first year con, I thought they would totally screw that up. But no, they're pushing forward. So they're going to be back in 2020. BabsCon's going to be back in 2020. We got Sequestria Fest coming in 2020. Apparently, there's something called the Phoenix Brony Project that maybe came out of what SunnyCon was supposed to be in Phoenix. They're making a big announcement on June 21st. So that could be another con that's coming in 2020. No announcement yet from Winnie City. That's a bit concerning to me. But because there's been no feedback survey yet, no announcement yet on 2020 yet. So that worries me a little bit. But we'll see what happens in due time. But there have been a few announcements, so that is always good to see that the cons are still, continuing on even after Gen 4 comes to an end. So yay for that. For me, another life story, new church. I made the not difficult, but the decision that needed to be made to leave Church of the Heartland after about 6.5 months of going there. I just felt like personally my spiritual growth was being blocked. It was being hindered. It could not continue in the capacity that it was. I didn't like the direction the church was going. And the pastor and we just clashed. Like there was too much difference between us. We couldn't hash things out. His standards were too high for me to meet. Pretty much things that happened at Faith Covenant in Monticello when that fell out. So I couldn't keep going there. I needed to make a switch. I needed to be in a place where I wasn't pressured and not having that burden on me. So now I've been going to the Vineyard here in Logansport for 3 weeks now. I went today my third week there, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing. The pastors, him and his wife, are incredible people. They're so nice. Everyone's been so welcoming. Every time I come in, people say hi. Granted, I'm not the greatest with names. I remember faces more than I do names, but I remember seeing them previous weeks. Like, oh yeah, hi, good to see you. Good to see you again. How are you? I remember faces more than anything else. But I do know some people that go there. One of my coworkers goes there. One of my former coworkers goes there. So it's people I know. It's a tight-knit group. When they do communion, we pray. We don't do like a lot of churches do, where you just go back to your seat and you reflect. No, we pray together at communion, which is really cool. So yeah, I love it. I'm really starting to feel comfortable in it, and it's just a neat. The worship is good. It's a little different in terms of the music style. It's not as modern or contemporary. It's more, but it's not gospel either. It's pretty much like in between. So it's kind of like a modern gospel, if you will. I don't really know a whole lot of the songs, but they're pretty easy to pick up on once you see the pastor singing them and the lyrics on the screen, they're pretty easy to pick up. So so I know, a few, but not a whole lot. I want to look up their website and see like how their music comes about, like how they choose the music that they do. So that'll be interesting. But I like what I see. And even the pastor's wife told me, she said, no, we let people, feel it out the first couple of weeks, and then we try to put them in a place of serving. And I've even told them, that I've been singing on worship teams before, but I still have that little bit of trepidation where it's like, I don't want, happening to keep happening where, I end up on worship team and then I have to be held to these higher standards. Like I don't want to feel that pressure. I don't want to feel the big weight on my shoulders, because that's not what worship team should be about. Worship team should be about God. Worship team should be about, worshiping Him and giving it all you got for Him, not about petty, little differences and standards that the people on the worship team should be held to. No, that's not what it's about. And it shouldn't be about, it should be about, if anything, if you're talking about the people on the worship team, it should be about catering to their strengths and not their weaknesses. And I feel like, and everyone should be on the same page when it comes to communication. And I feel like the 2 times I was on worship team in the past, we didn't have that. At the church in Monticello, there were, literally too many chiefs and not enough Indians. There were too many leaders, and there was no teamwork involved. It wasn't a worship team. It was a bunch of individuals that all had different agendas, and those ideals clashed, and the communication was not up to par, and they didn't have a good definition of what commitment was, because the leader felt like I was not being committed enough when I did everything that was ever asked of me, and I didn't complain about it either. So that just totally threw me off guard. And that was like, okay, after 3 times when I was being wrong, it's like enough's enough. Same thing at Church of the Heartland. I gave, once the transition happened from the pastor that I originally met to the new pastor, after I had some issues with the direction the worship team was going and the church was going the first time around, I expressed those feelings, and I got like put in the principal's office for I got totally reprimanded for it and chewed out. And I felt like, do my concerns not even matter? Like, is there really this big a gap between what we believe in, like for the worship team here, for the direction you're taking this church forward? And it got to a point where I said, no, enough's enough. I'm not going to continually disrespected and treated with disrespect by the pastor of the church. That's not Christian love. Like, that's not what they're supposed to show. So I couldn't put up with that anymore. I don't tolerate disrespect from anybody, let alone a pastor. So because I stand up for what's right, and I stand up for what I and if something is not right, I stand up against it. And injustice in the church, that's not right. And so if they're not going to see my perspective, they're not going to appreciate my belief, they're not going to see what I see, and if they completely ignore it and pretend like it never even happened, no, that's wrong. So I had to get out of there. I needed a change of space, and I'm loving it at the Vineyard. So hopefully this one sticks. Hopefully this one, goes well enough. And so that's really what I'm hoping for at the end of the day. All right, let's end this strong. Let's talk about some episodes and in blind reaction to some episodes. Let's talk first about Episode 5. Let's talk about Point of No Return. This episode, to me, this is another elite episode. This is another really good one. This is 8.5 out of 10 as well. It's not quite uprooted. It's not Sparkle 7, but it's at least in the ballpark. It's not an average episode. It's a really good episode. GM Barrow had the difficult task of following the 200th episode. That is certainly not easy to do. because that was one of the best episodes of the whole series. But at the end of the day, solid episode, but not at that level. Not perfect. Oh, how ironic, right? Considering this episode is all about not being perfect. Seriously, though, Flawless would have been used very well in this episode. The song would have worked in this episode as well. So some of my notes here from it. Derpy in a speaking role. We saw actually Derpy got a speaking role from the very start of the episode. We don't see that very often anymore. So it's nice to, and I know she's like the ultimate character of fan pandering, but it was nice to see, her get a speaking role at the start. So Celeste in this episode, Celeste is bringing Twilight her old belongings from her room in Canterlot, and she just goes through all this stuff, and she stumbles upon an old library book. Oh, that is one of the worst things that could happen to Twilight Sparkle. So cue the classic freak out, and I'm thinking that moment, someone find Rarity's fainting couch, stat, she's gonna flip out and faint on it, because that was just again, classic another Twilighting moment. And Spike tries so hard in this episode to be the voice of reason. He tries so hard. It's so good to see Spike in that role. He's just trying to tell Twilight, hey, everyone makes mistakes. And I'm thinking to myself as I'm watching that, seriously, how many times, Twilight, must you learn that lesson? You sang about it with your friends in an episode. And now it's you're learning it again. And I know it's happened a lot in the series, but it's how many times do you have to learn the same lesson? But the shame here is just too great, because a princess cannot have overdue library book, right? It's just, they don't compute. Twilight knows in her mind that doesn't compute. And the reason why? Well, apparently because she's never had one before. And she has her picture on the wall as the best borrower ever. Ouch. That stung. We also got a lot of nice callbacks in this episode. This is really, again, I mention this always, this is the season of callbacks. We're getting so many good callbacks in these episodes from previous things. We get to Restaurant Row from Spice Up Your Life, with the Tasty Treat, where Pinky and Rarity were to fix, that place, but it's going to work. But speaking of amazing songs, that's another one of my favorites. And Moon Dancer. We get a cameo from Moon Dancer. It was so nice to see her again. So there's so many great character callbacks in this. Even though it was brief, it was good to see her again. But then I'm wait a minute. So Twilight's failure to return the book was the reason that Dusty Pages either left or got fired, lost her job. And I'm thinking to myself, no, there has to be more to the story. That can't be the only reason why it happened. Of course, Twilight now is going to think that's the reason why it happened. But I'm thinking, no, there's got to be more to the story. And the whole scene with Twilight trying to find Dusty Pages, that was like a wild pony chase. I'm thinking someone play the Benny Hill music, because it was it was a bit ridiculous. And to me, that's a part that kind of dragged on way too long, in my opinion. That one could have been shortened or just not as dragged out. It was just kind of odd. Interesting little nod as well, and I don't know if you guys picked up on this. When they finally get to the retirement community. Oh, another thing that I thought was kind of funny though. Before I get to that, when they're checking out all the places with silver in the name. And they cut at one point. Twilight goes to the students and talks to Silver Stream. I didn't get the joke at first. I'm thinking, wait a minute, why is she talking to the students? And then it's oh wait, Silver Stream, silver in the name. Ah, okay, now I get it. I didn't pick up on that until I saw it later, and I'm okay, I get it now. Interesting nod there. But no, when they finally get to the retirement community. The pony at the front desk, I liked her. I really liked her a lot. She's very chipper. So I looked her up, and according to the Friendship is Magic wiki, her name is Teddy Safari, and she actually was in Stranger Than Fanfiction. I thought, wow, I knew I had seen her before. I just didn't know where I had seen her. But we didn't hear her speak in that episode. But then I looked it up. I'm oh, okay. So that's where I'd seen her. but she was very chipper. I liked her. I thought she was very cool. I would never have known that's who she was. So very cool. And then they eventually find her, and Dusty Page is a very busy pony. It reminded me a little bit of Twilight when she was younger a bit. And then some other commentators have made the correlation to this. I know Voice of Reason and Despio did when they did their review of this, talking about being Mending Fences 2.0, and I started to kind of see that in this episode a bit. I can also understand why Dusty would be so shocked that Twilight was the one who ended her perfect record, because she also had a perfect record of no one having any late books with her either. So they both had this perfect record to maintain and uphold. But then at first, I was confused because she was so bitter about it. She stormed off, and that was really I was confused at that. But then a few moments later, we kind of get the scene where they quickly make amends, and that to me, unlike the part where the wild goose chase was dragged on, the resolution there seemed really rushed. It just seemed like it happened all way too fast. Why is she so upset at first, and then a few moments later, oh yeah, I can, oh no, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. It was very odd of how rushed it was. So that was kind of weird. Especially, and then there's us. I also like to call back to kind of Hooffields and McColts in a way, because the fruit tossing fight tournament where they find Dusty, that was a nice little callback to Hooffields and McColts, I thought. So yeah, apparently Twilight breaking her perfect record was the best thing that ever happened to her. Who knew? And saw that she didn't have to be perfect. Again, as Silver Quill would say, what a twist. And then the title of the book was Perfection, The Impossible Pursuit. Double twist. That was just absolutely incredible, how that happened. So yeah, for the last episode written by GM, this was a strong way for her to go out. Like I said, not uprooted, not Sparkle 7, but very solid, great moral, callbacks aplenty. GM, I cannot thank you enough for all that you did for the show. I got to see you at Winnie City a couple years ago when you were there, and it was so fun to to interact with you and share the moments you've had on the show. Just amazing. You've done so much amazing stuff. I wish you nothing but the best in whatever else you do next, whether it's MLP related or not. You've been so amazing for this show. So thank you for all that you did. That was a great way for her to go out. All right. So now what we're going to do is we are going to watch. We're going to watch episodes 6 and 7. Now, again, I know nothing about these. Yeah, I know nothing about these episodes aside from the description that's on the guide, because I try to stay really spoiler-free up until I watch these. So let's go ahead and go in here. So we'll start with episode 6. So this would have been last Saturday's episode, not the one that aired yesterday, but it was last Saturday's. So this is, okay, Common Ground. Okay. Okay. Quibble's in this episode. Okay, so Quibble Pants is in this episode. So we knew that he was one of at least 2 returning characters that we knew of, because we knew that he was coming back and Weird Al's character is coming back at some point, Cheese Sandwich. So we knew he was coming back at some point from the article that I read prior to the season premiere. Okay, cool. So Quibble Pants needs his friend's help to bond with the daughter of his new special sun pony. Oh, wow. Okay. Because like Dash, she's a real sports pony. Oh, okay. That could be a really cool story. Okay. Okay, I like this. I like where this is going. Okay, cool. I can dig this. Okay, let's check this out.
Thank you. Your account is back to normal.
Of course, this is the end of the
taking down your best book borrower.
Point of No Return episode.
Is that really necessary? It just seems so permanent. I mean, I did return the book, after all.
Yeah.
Hey, letting the perfection go.
Not easy for you, huh, Twilight?
It's an old edition. We've already replaced it with a new copy.
In that case, can we keep it? It might be a good reminder to have around.
You're sure? It's got a stain.
That's what makes it perfect.
All right. I'm looking forward to this one then, if because that could open up a lot of storylines. Again, we haven't seen him since Stranger Than Fan Fiction, so this is going to be interesting. This has a lot of potential, I think. All right, here we go. Ooh, Buckball. Hey, our Ponyville team back together again. Again, another nice callback. It's become an obsession. Oh man, new stadiums too? Jeez, yeah, this is really picking up steam. Nice.
They have a pretty good idea.
No, snails never change. That's great. That's great. So again, a nice callback to start it off, going back to Buckball season and all that. And still no new intro. Like I said, I resigned myself at this point that we're not going to get a new intro unless it happens in the finale. But yeah, nice callback there to Buckball season. So Ponyville is the championship team now. That's cool. Man, they've come a long way then. Pinky and Fluttershy and Snails have. That's really cool. So, and now it's become a big phenomenon across Ponyville as a result, which I think, it would. That would make sense considering, if they're winning a championship, it's like any sports team with a championship, and the fans get more into it. Your bandwagoners that maybe come on and join. Hey, I can relate. I've joined teams because they've got good players or they're winning or what have you. So yeah, I can totally relate to that. So I don't know where it's going, where Quibble's going to play into it, but considering it says that he's going to get help from Dash, which would be nice to interact with those two again. I'm sure there's going to be something to that, and maybe Buckball will be involved somehow. I think it would have to be if it's in the intro. Like, I think it would have to be somehow incorporated into it. But yeah, that's so cool. Like everyone's picking up on it. Like they're building new stadiums and they're for their new obsession. That's really neat. Again, we got more hair falling down. Yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to happen after that, and the fact that they didn't even, the Dash is like, I think they know that we're here. Like they were watching whether it was like it was a movie or a newsreel on the big screen. They're actually, and everyone was there to see them. Like to become like more celebrities than they even were before. All right, here we go. Hey, Appaloosa knows how to build. Okay, Josh Tabor wrote this. Sweet. Is that a Rumble ripoff? Like, I know it's not Rumble, but I feel like I've seen that young pony before, but I can't recall where I've seen him from. But I know I've seen him before. But he's not Rumble. Like, because when I first saw Rumble, I thought that was Rumble. But because they look so similar. But I know I've seen that young pony before. I just can't place where I've seen him. But I know I've seen him before because his voice sounds so familiar.
Guys, how much for an autograph? It's for autographs, eh?
Oh gosh, Snips.
You think you like it?
Really, Snips?
Went up clapping?
Yeah, honey. No. How many of you would pay for an autograph from my best friend Snails?
Oh my gosh, Snips. No, that's gonna make Snails feel so terrible. Okay. Between from Gallus's thing that he did in Uprooted to now Snips doing this, why have Flim and Flam not talked to either one of these two yet? Like, legit though? Like, that's terrible. Look, and the look on Snail's face. Gosh, he feels so bad.
Wow, that's a lot of writing.
Yes, it is. That's the price of fame there, Snails.
I never thought I'd get to be in anything like a Hall of Fame. Me neither.
Standing in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
I know, because everybody want to get one of those eventually.
Wait, there's a Hall of Fame for party planners too? Well, I guess I can't say too much to that. There's a Hall of Fame for Mascot, so hey. I can't say too much to that. I really can't now, can I? No, probably not. Yeah, man, everybody's doing buckball now. Oh, jeez. Hi, Berry Punch.
We can't put it on. If we lose a point at one team, we'll be out of the tournament. Oh, you better get a Spike over here then. You have to win the first few games without me cheering you on. Oh, why? Applejack was too busy to come, so she made me promise to go to all the museum exhibits and tell her about them. I'm gonna try and get in first to beat the crowd so I can get back to the tournament faster.
Applejack made you do that? Okay, like, I don't get this dissonance with AJ and Rainbow Dash. Again, shouldn't Dash have learned the hard way? Granny's Gone Wild, like, for AJ to force Rainbow Dash to do stuff. I don't know. I don't get that.
Hurry! Looks like there's already a line! What? The doors aren't even open yet. What kind of sportsman camps out for a museum?
The real question is...
Oh, there he is!
Fan doesn't.
Quibble!
Wiggle Pants?
Rainbow Dash, fancy meeting you here.
Ta-da!
Fancy meeting me? I'm a sports pony, of course I'd be here. What's fancy is you being here. If fancy meant confusing.
There's something fancy or confusing about it. And you can't keep me away from that buckball rink. I'm the biggest fan there is.
Really? Something seems off already. Like, something doesn't seem right. Like he's giving off this air of putting on an act. Like, yeah, this doesn't seem. Quibble doesn't give off the vibe that he's a fan of buckball or anything sports related. This seems off. Like, something doesn't seem right. Even the look on Dash's face says it all. If I could show you, but the look on her face just says, "I'm totally confused."
It's a buckball field, and you are.
Oh, sure. But with all the bucking and the balling on the buckball field.
Yeah, he has no clue. He has zero clue.
Buckball. I wanted to be first in soccer to experience the grand history of the sport. I guess only a real fan will understand that.
Oh, that is such a terrible burn. Oh, you are really trying to play this off. Like you are. Okay, I know you are enough of a jerk and stranger than fan fiction, but you are really trying to play this off like you're this big fan of Buckball. And clearly you're like, we know you're not. I don't think it's going to take long for Dash to figure out that he's full of it.
Oh, perfect timing.
Hello.
Dash, I'd like you to meet Clear Sky, the most amazing pony I've ever
Aww.
You've met Daring Do, so that's probably an exaggeration. No offense. None taken. When it comes to describing your special sun pony, a little exaggeration for him. And I feel the same way about you.
Aww.
And who is this? This is my daughter, Whispers.
And she...
Oh, this is adorable. Okay, first off, Clear Sky is also adorable. I love these designs. And then we got Wind Sprint. Okay. Oh, the designs are adorable. I love the color. Oh, these are adorable. This is okay. This is cool. This is cool. I wonder how Quibble met, or how. I wonder how they met.
Team amazing too.
Wind, did you thank Quibble for camping out so we'd be first in line? Thanks.
No problem.
Okay, Wind Sprint sort of looks a little like Twilight, except a little less purple. Yeah, she sounds like Maud. Like she is not thrilled to be here. Like she wants nothing to do with this. I get the sense that Quibble is trying to like impress her somehow, or I don't know. There's a lot going on here to dissect, but like clearly Wind Sprint wants nothing to do with this.
But anyway, I mean, I can't wait to see the evolution of the buck basket from farm to field. That's not just, I mean, oh, wow, there is a lot to see.
I'd rather see the game.
Oh, well, I mean, sure, that makes sense. We could just go to the tournament instead.
No, Quibble planned this whole thing for us, and you could be a little more appreciative.
Dang, tough mother. Fitting that I'm watching this on Mother's Day, right? I spent a good time with Mom today. It was good. I never fail with my gift. She always likes my gifts. And we caught up and everything. So it was good. Happy Mother's Day, by the way, all the mothers out there. This is good. I like where this is kind of going.
I kind of wanted to skip the museum too. But I promised a friend that I'd check out all the exhibits. All of them?
You know, I'd like a chance to catch up with Rainbow Dash. Why don't we split up?
Of course, that's why you're there.
And
So, you and Clear Sky, huh?
yeah, she's great. Honestly, I've never been happier. Which is why I need your help. I don't know
Whoa.
what any of this stuff is.
Well, that was painfully obvious. You clearly had no clue. That was okay. So Dash, you had to figure. Apparently, Dash was so blind to figuring that out. We knew it well in the beginning that Quibble had no clue what any of this was. That clearly he was trying to play it off like he did, and he didn't. So not only is he trying to impress Clear Sky, maybe, I don't know if he's trying to or not, but clearly there's something with Wind Sprint. Like there's got to be like something with her, like, but clearly he's trying to be knowledgeable to these two somehow.
What do you mean?
See this? I don't know what it is.
A ball?
Well, and this? I have no idea.
It's a basket. How do you not know what these are?
I'm not even 100% sure what bucking is. I literally know nothing about buckball.
You're a pony and you don't know what bucking is. O-M goodness. I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say to that at all. That's like, I hope, again, I know he was pretty dense in Stranger Than Fan Fiction. I hope he's really not, but he's really showing right now like he's actually pretty dense.
Well, I figured you weren't the sportiest pony in Equestria.
Oh.
Windsprint is. Her dad was a big athlete too. I can't compete with that.
Aww.
One thing's with Clear Sky to work out, but if Wynn doesn't like me, I might as well give up.
Why?
They're a family. Even if it's okay with Clear Sky, I wouldn't ask them to make me a part of it if Windsprint isn't on board.
Aww. He's trying so hard. Okay, now's the moment where it's like you feel for him. Like, he's trying so hard to make this work. Like, yeah, it's a facade. Yeah, it's an act. But he has reasons for it. Like, he's trying so hard to make this work. Gosh, this is just I feel for him in that moment. Like, you know, he's trying to really make it work. And he even said, you know, if Windsprint doesn't even like him, you know, it's, you know, they're already a family. He's trying to get, you know, into it. That's tough. That's really tough. But I feel for him in that
But if I
moment.
could convince Wynn I was a big Buckball fan, we'd have something to bond over, but I'm pretty sure she's on to me.
Here, give it a shot.
Or not.
Yeah, I don't think she's fooled.
No.
Could you talk to her? I mean, you're a famous sports pony. You know what to say. Maybe you could talk me up a little.
No problem. I totally got your plan. Interesting. The game's a lot harder to play with apples. You play? Who do you think taught them? Of course, being a wonderful takes up most of my time, so I don't get to try as much as I'd like. Wait, you're Rainbow Dash? The wonderful? Whoa, my dad was a great player too. You don't say. You know, we're old.
Makes me wonder who her dad is or was. That really makes me wonder. And how did she not know that was Rainbow Dash right away? By the way, that too. So it takes Dash telling her that she's a Wonderbolt and that she trained the Ponyville team to figure out who she is. Like that. Like, you'd think that she's known well enough throughout Equestria that everyone would know that, but maybe not. Maybe I'm looking too deeply into that. I don't know. But okay, so this is definitely gonna up Windsprint's spirits. Clearly, this is definitely gonna help her out. Ow.
If you say so.
Oh, face wing.
I think I've seen enough of this museum for 3 Applejacks. Let's go watch some football!
That sounds awesome. Oh, but first, I got you a little surprise.
Ooh.
Oh, a book.
Oh, no.
Oh, and somewhere Twilight is screaming. She is clearly not Twilight. She just dropped that book like a bad habit. Clearly, she is not Twilight. And she just dropped that book like, nope, I ain't doing this.
The Buckball Almanac. This thing has every Buckball fact and statistic ever recorded.
Wow.
I know. I never realized there was so much math in Buckball. I mean, this game's got more numbers than Clovers and Oubliettes.
Nice callback.
Thanks.
I guess I can hold it for you, you know, so you don't have to carry it.
Can I go to the game now?
Clearly, Windsprint is more of a, okay, well, I guess in a moment where I can relate to her in a way. I'm very much a visual person. Like, if I'm interested in something, I want to see it. Like, it's nice to read about, like, numbers and stats and what have you, and I do, and I can appreciate that a little bit, but I want to see it. Like, I want to see visually what's going on. I can totally relate to Winsprint in that regard. I can totally relate to her. So I get you. I get you for sure.
Listen, Q, this trip was a lovely idea and the book was sweet, but you don't have to try so hard. Everything's gonna be fine.
I find it cute that she calls him Q.
Not even my presents are in the ball court.
Do you mean ballpark?
Do
Ballpark.
I don't know. One thing's for sure, Wing is never gonna like a pony like me.
Of course she will. She just needs to see her sporty side.
I don't have a sporty side.
That's right, he doesn't.
Every pony has a sporty side, and we're gonna find yours. By the end of the day, I'm gonna turn
Or the end of the
you
episode.
into the sportiest pony in Equestria.
Oh boy, that's a mission and a half. That, I don't know how Rainbow Dash is going to pull that off, but it's certainly, I'm sure, going to be very interesting. Wow, this is coming along nicely. This is another one that's really that's not disappointing. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot going on at once to follow, but this so far is working. I can't hate on this. This is another really good one so far. I like Winsprint. I mean, granted, Clear Sky's a good character too, and I like their design, as I mentioned, but I like Winsprint. I like her spunk. Like, I think, I hate to say this now, but I feel like she and Rumble will actually get along. Like, and I know it's a scary thought, but like, I think they'd get along. I like because the spunk that they have. But yeah, clearly she's wants to see it. She's very, she's the sporty one. She is very into it. She doesn't want to, learn about, she's not much of a learner in the, in the stats and all that stuff. She wants to actually see the event. Like she wants to actually, well, okay, compare me to the Mascot Hall. Yeah, it's nice to see, all of it and all the history and whatnot, but actually interacting with it, with the actual thing that you're honoring, is cooler. That's the cooler experience. That's what I see here in Winsprint. So she actually wants to see the event, not learn about it, not learn about the numbers, not all that, not read about it. No, she wants to actually see the event. And Quibble is trying really hard to, to be the sporty one, to get, Winsprint to like him. And that's going to be the hard part. And now Rainbow Dash is taking on this challenge of, oh, okay, I'm going to make you into we're going to find your sporty side, and I'm going to, make you a sporty pony. Again, I don't know how she's going to go about that, but, we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. This is really solid. This is really good so far. It's at least a good episode. I don't know if it's like top level yet. Maybe it will be by the end, but this is still a good episode. This is still really good. I like where it's going. And I've said that about a lot of episodes this season. All right, here we go. We're back.
Family.
Back in the stadium.
Look, I'm not saying it's a terrible idea, but it's a terrible idea. You can't turn me into an athlete. It's impossible.
It's either that or be yourself and bond with Wind over comic books and role-playing games.
Ouch.
Oh,
she's adorable.
Don't you think I tried? She doesn't even like daring do. She thinks she's not it.
Gasp! Who doesn't like daring do? Okay, I sort of liked Winsprint at first. Kind of turned off by that.
What? Well, we need to get started on Operation Fortify ASAP.
She doesn't even like daring do.
Yeah.
She thinks she's not athletic enough.
What? Yeah, right?
We can get started on Operation Sportify ASAP.
Operation Sportify. I like that.
To figure out what your sporty side is.
Dash toss the ball for the wins. That's cool.
Every pony's got something. Speed.
Of course.
Strength. Agility. Of course, some ponies can do it all.
It's amazing. But what about me?
Right?
We should
Yeah.
probably start small. I'll pass the ball to you, and you just pass it back to me. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Right. Start out small. Good. Small steps. Oh,
Okay. Maybe agility's not your thing.
clearly.
Ready?
If I say no, do I still have to run?
Yep.
Yep.
Can we get on with this? Skills guy did so well with the autographs, we decided to expand. And these souvenirs are
Oh, no. Wow.
We're gonna think speed. On your mark.
Think like Lightning McQueen.
Set.
Speed.
Did I not call that? Think like Lightning McQueen, and he goes speed. Okay, play it. He's not going anywhere, is he?
Okay, what a race, right?
He didn't go anywhere. Yep.
So much for speed.
Right.
This was fun, but I've got to get back to work.
Oh, jeez.
Come on, Gordon. You got this.
I
2 books.
This is hopeless. I don't have any skills, not agility, not speed. I can't even lift more than one book, and I love books.
Right?
If I tried to train, I know I could mold you to the perfect sports pony. Or at least a sportier pony.
Oh,
Who
jeez.
knows how long that would take? I really need to get wind to like me now.
Maybe you're not the best athlete in our city, or the most coordinated, or the bestest, or
Jeez, Dash. Way to be brutally honest. Where'd you learn that from, AJ?
a little bit strong.
I'm sorry, wait, is this supposed to be making me feel better?
Right. Right.
None of that matters, because I just figured out how to sportify you.
Of course he did. They've gotten so good. Nice.
Advance to the next round. If they keep winning like this, they'll never get off the field.
Wow, players from Ponyville are so good.
They sure are.
Quibble, where have you been? I was hoping we'd all watch the tournament together.
Oh, I've just been arranging for us to hang out with a few of my close friends from Team Ponyville.
Oh,
As
really?
if wins up for it.
This is wonderful, Q, but I still feel like you're trying too hard to get Wynn's approval. This is so great! Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy are the best players out there! Well, you can thank Quibble. Wonderful football stars! He's friends with the sportiest ponies around!
Oh, no. So now you're in on the facade, too. Yeah, you guys are trying way too hard. We went from brutally honest to let's keep up with the lie in a few seconds. Like, what kind of continuity is that? Hint, it's not. Oh my gosh. Really? Wow. I don't know.
42, right? Ooh, so this is Quibble Pants! I would ask you all about how you two spent the whole Daring convention geeking out together. And even though at first she got rid of most of the main fan ponies she ever met, you two eventually became friends. I guess even sports ponies agree. Quibble's a pony you like more and more over time.
Aww.
Knowing sports ponies isn't the same as being one. What's it like playing in front of all those fans? I guess you'll find out. What do you mean?
Yes, what do you mean?
Yes, please. What do you mean? Yes, please. Please explain. Because now I'm confused. Like, huh? Wait. You're not gonna. No. They're not gonna make Snails drop out and put her in. Oh, I have a feeling I know where this is going, and I don't like it. Oh. I hope in that sense I'm wrong. I hope in that regard I am wrong. Ooh, new Twitter follower. I hope in that sense I'm wrong. Oh, okay. I hope I'm wrong, but I have a feeling I'm not going to be.
I think it's time to tell Win about your next surprise.
Q, Win really doesn't need any more surprises.
Is it another book? Hey, books are awesome. And me, this is way more awesomer than that. For the tournament championship, you and Will are going to play a game of football against Team Ponyville.
We're playing.
Oh, okay. Was not expecting that turn of events, so yeah, I was wrong. But, So, for the halftime show, she and Will were going to play against Ponyville. Ooh. Okay. I will say this, though. I feel like that's going to backfire hilariously. So, clearly, Clear Sky is our voice of reason in this episode. Have you noticed, like, this season, like, there's, like, at least one in, like, every episode? Like, at least one? I've noticed that. But clearly, Clear Sky is trying to be the voice of reason here because she keeps telling him, you're trying too hard. You don't have to try too hard. She doesn't need more surprises. You know, you're trying too hard to impress her. So, I don't know in the end what's going to impress her. I have a feeling something is. But, yeah, clearly they're trying too hard to keep up this facade, if you will, this act of making Quibble this sports pony. It's like, wow, I don't know. Like, I love the design, and this is a decent, but it's like the way they're approaching it is just, it's kind of painful in a way. Like, it really is. I don't know. I worry about this one. I feel like this is just going to hilariously backfire. I mean, obviously, I think Winsprint's gonna enjoy, actually playing the game. But with Quibble, I can't see that going well. I really can't. This just has, like, if you had the word disaster plastered on a piece of paper, this is right next to the dictionary. It's disaster written all over it. I feel like this is going to just hilariously backfire somehow. It's amazing that they've even gotten this far. So, yeah, this is all right. How is this going to work? Oh gosh, Quibble looks so nervous. I went. Dang! Westbrook got skills.
Probably stretch.
make this okay. What were you thinking?
You wanted to impress Windspring, and this just made sense.
Really? I was making a fool of myself in front of her, Sky, and a billion football fans. Makes sense.
Don't worry, I've got your flank. I already talked to Mickey Mouse.
I've got your flank.
They're totally gonna make you look good.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe this is the absolute worst idea ever.
There, stallions, hobos, and goals. Put your bills together for today's halftime presentation. And football's big stars take on a team of fans just like you.
Oh, that? Yeah.
And that's one for the Ponyville James. Looks like these fans don't know what they signed up for.
Nice, wind sprint.
Ooh, no. It was wide open, and I'll never get there in time to walk.
Oh gosh.
Looks like our fan team needs to work on their passing.
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is hilariously backfiring. Wow. How about that? Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, this is just as I thought. This is not going well.
A Ponyville win.
Wow.
It says very clearly on page 647 of the expanded football tournament rules that a goal is scored when an Earth Pony sends the ball into a basket. But it doesn't say which basket.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure every pony knows you're not supposed to score in the other team's goal.
But the rules don't say that. If that goal is ours, it's only 2-1, and we can keep playing.
I don't want to. You're not a sports pony. It's not fun playing this game with you.
Well, I knew she'd figure it out eventually. That, of course, because episode, but yeah, I figured that was going to happen. Yeah, that was pretty easy. That was to be expected. By the way, the official looks a lot like Silver Shill. I'm just saying. I know it's not Silver Shill, but it looks a lot like him. Anyway, but yeah, that was to be expected. Trying and poor Quibble even trying to find a loophole in the rule book just to make it feel like a goal counted. Ugh. Yeah, trying way too hard.
I was just trying to get her to like me.
I know, but I told you you didn't need to. You and I have to rethink all of this.
Ouch.
What are you doing out here?
Apparently this book is as close to sports as I'll ever get.
Come on. That goal you scored for the other team was amazing.
Ugh. Thanks for trying, Rainbow Dash, but I think we can both agree the whole Sportify idea was a big flop.
What? We haven't even gotten started. I've got like 7 more development ideas to turn you into a super sporty pony.
Ugh. It's already made up her mind, and so have I. Time to throw up the towel.
It's throw in the towel. And that's ridiculous. You can't just give up.
Wind and Sky deserve a pony they both like in their lives. Besides, Sky wants to rethink things, so I'm just beating her to the lunch.
It's
You do the punch. He's clearly messing up all these phrases.
Sports reference.
We both like in their lives. Besides, Sky wants to rethink things, so I'm just beating her to the lunch.
It's beating her to the punch, and it's barely a sports reference. How do you not know that?
Because I don't know anything about sports. Pretending I did just made things worse.
So you should stop pretending. Look, you are terrible at sports. You're uncoordinated, slow, weak,
Okay, again, not really making
Yeah,
me
not
feel better.
helping.
and you're completely clueless about anything having to do with athletics. But maybe I'm not the fool you should have come to for help.
Huh?
I wish we didn't even come here. Quibble thought you'd like it. Well, I don't, and I don't like him. Why do you like him?
Because he's kind and smart, and his friends really seem to care about him, which is always a good sign.
I don't care how many ponies care about him. They're not going to make me forget about Dad.
Oh, sweetheart.
Aww. Okay, so clearly, whoever her dad was is either no longer around or not a part of their life. Ouch, that hurts. Okay. So apparently he was trying to maybe fill that void. Okay, I can sort of now understand why Quibble tried so hard.
Trying too hard, but he doesn't want you to stop loving.
Care about him. They're not going to make me forget about Dad.
Oh, sweetheart. I know Quibble's trying too hard, but he doesn't want you to stop loving your dad.
No.
He just wants you to like him. And I think maybe there's enough room in your heart to do both.
Aw.
Hey there. Glad I found you because I have a confession to make. I know it's hard to imagine, but I'm really not all that sporty.
No.
I'm sorry I was trying so hard to convince you. Otherwise, I just really wanted us to get along, but I guess it backfired. Do you think we could
Yes,
start over?
hilariously.
Maybe we could watch some of the tournament together and you could teach me some sports stuff?
Nice.
That's their fault.
I'll try to remember that if I ever decide to make off again. But I probably won't. Oh, look, it's faster than flipping triple pass the ball and it's goal.
Nice.
And it's right here. Pink flips and triple bounce bumps over 83% of her shots from the northwest section of the field when the wind is blowing from the east.
Huh. I guess this book's kind of going through.
There you go. Aww.
Look, Sky, I know you're thinking of calling it quits between us, and after today, I don't blame you. But when did I just made a connection?
Calling it quits? What are you talking about?
You said you wanted to rethink things.
Yes, you did say that.
Things like having your friend help you pretend to be a sports buddy so Wick would like you.
What?
Yes.
I didn't, right?
Yes. Yes.
What?
Yes.
Look what Coco showed me. When Fluttershy flies higher than the other Pegasus, Pinky scores 92% of the time, and it just happened.
Wow. You better watch out. You're going to start to like books.
Ah! And somewhere Twilight rejoices.
So bad.
Huh. Looks like you didn't need sportiness, famous ponies, or lavish gifts to bond with Wick after all.
Technically, he still needed to buy her the book, but that's it.
Technically. Oh, feels, man. Oh, that ending. All right. So the ending made up for it. All right. I gotta give it that. That was definitely something. That was something. I will give it that. It's not a great episode as a whole, but the ending saved it. Like the resolving in the end, that saved it. Like that was good in that regard. So yeah, so it's not like top of the line level, but it was okay. Let's see, what am I gonna give it here on a 10 scale? I'm not gonna give it like what I've given the other ones because those were like good all the way through. Because there were some predictable moments. There were some rough moments. There was some, just, what the heck's going on moments. Do I still call this one elite? I think this is more of a meh. This isn't an elite episode. It's not quite at that level. I'm gonna give it 7.5 because the ending saves it more than anything. But it's not top of the line elite. So that puts it right now as like my second least favorite episode of the season, above part 1 of the premiere. So I don't see it as top of the line, but it has some good qualities in it with the family aspect and the trying to fill the void and learning a lesson of not being someone, again, kind of being someone you're not, that lesson around it. But there's still some rough patches in the middle, but the ending saves it. So I'll give it that. So yeah, so I'll go 7.5 out of 10 on Common Ground. So yeah, decent episode, but not wow, I'm amazed all the way through. Yeah, that's how I feel about that one. All right, so now let's go to the next one. Maybe. All right, so this was yesterday's episode. So she's all yak. So that implies that we're going to either see one of the yaks or Yona or something to that effect. Let's see. When Sandbar asks Yona to a pony dance, oh gosh, no. Well, I guess you're not part of the show unless there's shipping involved, huh? Oh gosh, now there's going to be Yona bar shipping, I'm sure, if there isn't already. Oh gosh. Yona becomes convinced she must ponify herself to be a good friend. So again, it's this, okay, now they're just hammering in the same lesson of becoming something that you're not. Oh my gosh. Why are they doing the same lesson in back-to-back episodes? Oh my gosh. Like, why? I don't understand that. Wow. Okay, well, we'll see how they do it this time. I don't know. So she goes to Rarity and her friends for a makeover. In appearance and personality. Oh my gosh. This is definitely going to be again interesting how they go about this. We'll see what happens. Of course, there's the end of Common Ground again. The reactions by Quibble and Dash at the end are priceless.
Flies higher than the other Pegasus. Pinky scores 92% of the time, and it just happens.
I love
You better watch out. You're gonna start.
I love her voice.
I guess that wouldn't be so bad.
Looks like you didn't need sportiness. Famous opponents with lavish gifts to bond with after all.
Technically, he still needed.
Yeah, I love Wynn's voice. Whoever did her voice did a really good job. So yeah, the ending saved that episode. It really did. Yeah, the ending really saved that in the end. So, but again, all the way through though, just a okay episode. But how now are they going to shove that lesson down our throats with this one? When the students are getting involved. I don't know how I feel about that either. All right. Let's see. Hey, every creature. Oh, my favorite student 6.
It won't keep you in suspense any longer. We're bringing one of UglyDolls' oldest traditions to our school. The Fedlock Fest. What?
Oh.
It's a pony dance party. They're the best.
I'm ready.
Aww.
You don't need to do that, fellas. This year the event's at school and open to every creature.
Nice.
Our dance, the Amity Ball. Even better. You do not know Amity Ball dance. You only know traditional dance in Afghanistan. Oh, like this.
Oh, jeez.
Ball dance like that?
Ow.
Not exactly. It isn't just one dance. It's a whole night of them. Plus, an awesome party.
And we'll have all the old Fedlock Fed traditions. The Pony Pal contest, the Lucky Pot dinner, you'll love it. So like this says, get your Pony Pal and come along. Wanna go? I got nothing better to do.
You had me at dinner.
Wow. So Smolder just asked Gallus right out of the blue, and he's like, yep, I'm game. Granted, those two have had a connection ever since, I guess, the premiere of Season 8. So, hey, I guess it makes sense for Smolder to ask Gallus. I mean, makes you wonder then who Ocellus and Silverstream are going to ask. Oh, my gosh. Okay. So this is basically like every creature prom, if you will. This is how this is gonna go, which I can relate to because I went to prom when I was in high school. So the look on Smolder and Gallus's faces is just priceless, by the way. Wink.
Now, who wants to help me make more posters? Sure.
Oh, Silverstream, always helping out.
Hey, Yona. Want to be my pony pal?
Aww, those blushes. Aww. Oh, okay. Okay, I gotta give credit to Sambar there. He's adorable there, or adorkable. Oh gosh, that's cute. Aww.
Contest together?
But Yona yak. Yona not pony.
So?
It's for every creature.
Pony. More pony.
Oh, that's just a poster. Come on, it'll be tons of fun together. Promise.
Okay, Yona go with Sambar.
Oh, great. I'll get the tickets. See you there.
Yona, now put Sambar down. Yeah, that's the big pony pal. Yona not sure how if she not pony.
Ouch.
Terribly sorry, Yona. All these dresses I'm sewing for the dance have me completely frazzled. Dress? Yona need dress for dance? Yona have to learn about being best pony pal.
Oh boy. Another, this has the feel of the last episode. Another plan that's gonna hilariously backfire again. Why are they doing the same lesson in back-to-back episodes? Like, I don't get that. Like, they're really hammering this in of being yourself and not trying so hard to be someone you're not. I don't get why they're doing the same lesson in back-to-back episodes. That's where I'm kind of confused. I don't get that. I love the Student 6 to death, but it's like why hammer in the same lesson that you just had in the previous episode? Like, I don't understand that. So Yona's gonna try to ponify herself to impress Sambar for the every creature prom, if you will. Yeah, I'm sure this won't hilariously fail. And then I'll wonder how Sambar's gonna react in this episode. If I already question his behavior and mood swings, what have you already, then who knows what's gonna happen here. I just find it so weird that they're tackling the same lesson in back-to-back episodes. That's something that normally like Hasbro like wouldn't do. Like I've never seen that in the course of the show. It's the same. It's basically the same concept, the same lesson in back-to-back episodes. I don't get that. I don't know. It's something though. I will say that. All right. How's this gonna go about?
You're not interrupting? Oh, well, not interrupting exactly. More like stopping me from what I do. So, yes, interrupting.
Oh gosh, Rarity's faces.
What can I do for you, Yona? Yona not know yet with special pony dress for dance. Yona no can wear what Yona always wear. Yona could, and you could. But the picklock set, or whatever Twilight is calling it, it's all about tradition. There's a certain way to do everything at the dance. Yes, that's what Yona wants to learn. How to do all the pony things, even if Yona has to wear a dress. If that's what you really want. Yona is best pony pal for Sambar.
Aww.
In that case, I took elegant affair like a pony dance. One must converse in a sophisticated fashion.
Of course.
Talking with Brussels sprouts in your mouth helps you to learn to articulate.
Rarity's faces in this episode are just priceless.
How kind of you to ask me to leave. May I offer you a glass of punch? The weather is quite agreeable today.
This is great. Oh!
Yona likes Brussels sprouts.
Ah! Of course you do.
Let me do something about your hairstyle. But first, let's try the right dress. Now,
I find that interesting. Okay, pause for a minute. I find that interesting, though. I have to do something about her hairstyle because wasn't it Rarity that in the premiere of season 8 was able to fix Yona's hair issues when she kept tripping over it? I don't know if that's was it meant to be callback or what, but that's really interesting. I find that very, very interesting.
gold bouquet is one of my favorites. Yona like brown earth tones. Earthy, aren't they?
Well, Sambar is an Earth pony. Okay, is it odd then that these two would make sense to end up together because like Yona just said, brown Rarity's with the Earth tones and Sambar is an Earth pony, so I guess that somewhat makes sense. I guess I didn't make that connection, but.
Stand out. Yona wants to fit in. By the time we're through, it'll be like you've been going to honey dances your whole life. The more you know,
A song.
the more confident you'll be.
Okay.
There's more to a dance than just having fun. There's no better teacher than me.
Of course.
Rarity, hold on. When I'm waiting for you, listen to me right in. Listen to me when I say what you listen to me.
I gotta say it. Rarity Tabitha St. Germain is probably the best singer of the main six. By far. This is great. To Twilight. I help lessons. Whoa. Whoa! Look at that callback. No. Hang on. Rewind that. Okay, so this is basically the shot that was taken at the end of, like, wait a minute. This was after Starlight got redeemed. So it's the same picture, but if you'll notice, Starlight's mane is different. Like in the original, she still had the split mane, but this one, it's her new look. That's either a bad continuity error or that's intentional for this. I don't know. That's interesting though. That's something. I don't know if that's a continuity. I want to say it's an animation / continuity error, but I could be wrong. I also didn't see who wrote the episode, so but I wonder if that's just an error or what. But I just had to point that out. But this is a good song. Of course, like I said, hardly a Rarity song ever disappoints. Whoa. Ouch.
I almost forgot the most important part of the ball. Oh, you already have 40 pounds. Oh, not that, darling. We're dancing, and I know precisely who can help.
Oh boy.
Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy good at dancing? Don't be so surprised. I'm awesome at everything.
Duh.
Except for baking.
Except for baking.
Dances that every pony does at the fete. After a few days of practicing with us, you'll know them both. And fit right in. Absolutely. We'll start with the snow dance. Pony Cotillion. That's Fluttershy.
Yeah, Rarity's faces in this are wonderful.
Oh, I wouldn't say specialty.
Aww.
It's just fun. Here, Yoda. I need your chart.
Oh gosh.
All you have to do is follow these dance steps. You'll learn them in no time. Now, just start walking. Step on whatever color I name. Let's begin. Blue, red, step ahead. Green, black, no step back. Now you try. Blue, red, step. No, start over. Blue, red, green, black. Yeah, step back. Good. Now, black, green, red, and blue. Red, black, hold 1 and 2. Red, blue, red once more. Green, black, blue, red.
Oh jeez. Whoa. Ow. An angel rubs it right in her face.
Maybe we should try this again later. Don't worry, Yona. That was the hard one. Mine's way easier.
Of course it is.
A little dance called the Pony Prince. The key to this one is speed. Come on, Yona, try it. Just get with the flow and let yourself go.
Oh, I love it. Oh, okay, too much flow. Too much flow. Too much flow there. Too much flow there, Yona. Yeah, a little too much. A little too much there in the flow department there, Yona. Oh gosh, this is, well, I mean, okay. It is the same moral, but I like the approach. This one they're taking better than how Common Ground did it. Like I appreciate this one a little more because this is more fun. This isn't like, I don't want to say like it's like the other one was more like serious, but it kind of was because of, you know, the deeper storyline in it. This one though is more fun, and so I like the approach they're going with it. Again, like it's the same moral, but I like where they're kind of going with this. I like the song. I aside from the little continuity error, I dig that. I like the approach they're taking here. This is me. This works a little better. Like I said, I also love Rarity's faces in this episode. So yes, as I kind of figured, it's like it's backfiring, but it's not like painfully backfiring like Common Ground was. This is it's still predictable in the sense that we know it's going to backfire, but it's not as painful to watch. Like it's not like it's being more humorous and more fun about it, and it's not as painful. That one was just a little more painful to see because it was just so, it was trying hard and it was just so bad and false and Wynn saw right through it and everyone saw right through it, and it was just like it was painful. This at least, Yona's making an effort. She's at least trying. Everyone is really trying to help her. So at least, we as the audience know it's going to backfire, but there's more of a humor to it. So that's why this one works a little bit better. But the moral is and the lesson is still the same, which that's why I'm not too fond of having the same lesson taught in back-to-back episodes. But this one's a little more fun, so that's what I appreciate about this one. So how are we? Is there a way to fix this? Is there a way to truly ponify Yona that we haven't seen yet? I don't know. That hasn't backfired. Oh, hello, Sweet Apple Acres.
Welcome to Sweet Apple Acres, Yona. Rarity tells us you need some help getting ready for the big dance. So, indeed.
A lot. More like a lot.
Well, you've come to the right place because my favorite part of dance. I think everything about dance, but especially the Fat Lucky Pot dinner.
Aww.
Pony Love Dance
Okay.
tradition. Every pony brings a dish to share. And we swap them without knowing who's whose. Although my lucky pot probably gives me away.
Duh.
Anything you want. I don't know. I already told Yona a little bit about that tradition. She's even got her own lucky bucket. Yeah, buckets are best buckets.
Of course they are.
They make traditional yak dish. Favorite stew.
Ew.
Extra fiber.
That is gross
I'm
looking.
not sure. So, just in case.
Yeah, like get rid of that. Oh gosh, that was Pinky. That was way too fast. Ooh.
That's one way to mix it. Let's try something a little simpler. I'm sure we can do something with these.
Or smash it.
Applesauce it is.
Oh gosh. Yeah, none of this is going well at all. Granted, it's more humorous, but well, actually, starting to make some progress. Maybe. Some things better than others. Oh my gosh, Pinky. You're just so amazing today. Okay, now we're starting to... Okay, we're starting to make some headway. Practice makes progress. Not perfect.
Green flag. ask you not to tease. Black, green, red, and blue. Red, black, blue,
Like, wake up. She's getting it.
red, white, green, black, blue, red, green, and blue. Look, she's dancing.
How about that? Then she's good. You know, if someone at the party tells you they are thirsty, you say,
May I offer you a cup of punch? You got it.
She does.
you did it.
You did great. And I'm so excited.
No kidding.
You mastered soul, then you opened your face and grown a lot in the past few days. You've shown a turn that is good for great.
Okay. I know, again, this might be speculation, but I'm going to make a prediction here just based on where this is kind of going. I kind of get the vibe where this is going. So I'm glad that eventually the practice paid off and Yona's learned all this, and that's cool. But why do I get the feeling that Sandbar is going to absolutely despise all of it and say, no, you didn't have to change for me. I like you just the way you are. I kind of get that that's coming. Because again, that's the moral they're trying to pound in from the last episode. I kind of get the sense that that's going to happen. I'm just thinking, I don't think I'm thinking too outside the box there. Again, I could be wrong. I was wrong in the last episode when I made a prediction, so who knows, but I'm kind of getting that vibe here. Oh, nice little reprise of the song. Nice.
Hello, every creature. I'm your DJ Scales and Tails.
Okay, wow. Okay. That is the cutest costume I have ever seen Spike wear in this show. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Did Deadmau5 have to approve of that? Like, legit though. That is the most, no, I gotta take a picture of that. That is the most adorable thing. I mean, it's hilarious, but it's also cute. It's hilarious, yet cute. Best costume I've seen Spike wear on the show. And I'll tag Kathy in this just because. I have got to take a picture of that. This is just, I mean, this is just absolutely awesome. Oh my gosh. That is amazing. That is just awesomeness. Wow. Who knew that Spike also had mad DJ skills? That's amazing. That is the best thing I've seen in the episode so far.
So welcome to the Fat Pit. I mean, the Every Ball.
Very nice. Ooh, looking good.
I'm just glad I'm here with you guys.
So Silverstream is gorging on the snacks. Ocellus is just like holding that punch like, yeah, I'm just happy to be here. And Gallus and Smolder are just the same way. Gosh. At least Sandbar at least had put on a tie.
At least I'm not the only non-fool in the crowd.
Right?
I'm still worried about that, are you? Like Head Nerd Twilight said, this is a dance for every creature. There's no pony pressure.
Someone should tell Yona that. Someone should seriously have, no, seriously, someone seriously should have told Yona that. I like Smolder's look there.
You should have told Yona that.
Did I not call that? Oh, thank you, Ocellus. Oh my gosh! You should have. And that's why they were giggling. Oh gosh, that could not have been any more perfect. I'm like, someone should have told Yona that, and then Selly says it. You should have told Yona. This is why I do blind reactions right there, because of that, because of moments like that. Oh my gosh, that is perfect. That is perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Oh my gosh. This is why I do blind reactions. Sandbar. There's no pony pressure. Pause. Me. Someone should have told Yona that. Resume. Ocellus. You should have told Yona that. Called it. I can't believe I called that. That's great. That's why I love blind reactions.
You mean? This is a dance for every
I just so good at
no
it.
pony pressure.
You should have told Yona that.
Right.
What do you mean?
Didn't you hear? Our teachers have been helping her get ready for the dance. She's been taking lessons.
Right.
She's gone full pony for the dance. All for you.
For me? Why?
How kind of you to ask me to the soiree, Senfa.
Oh my word.
You look so weird.
Yona?
Quite. Oh,
Weirder than usual. And remember, and that's a callback too, because do remember in the premiere, Silverstream's line, remember what she said? She said, "Congratulations, Yona. You are officially the weirdest thing I've seen so far." So for her to say that now, considering how she looks, that's interesting. This is getting really good at the end. Like, I was debating whether or not to put this in the elite category. This is getting up there with the process and the end. And I understand, again, I'm going to keep reiterating this, that it's the same moral as Common Ground, but they're doing it in a more hilarious way. This works. Like, this really works.
good pony coffee.
Oh.
Of course you do. But, Yona, you didn't need to do any of this.
Thank you.
And why are you talking so funny? I am not talking funny. I'm fitting in. Jonah! You look absolutely scrumptious, darling. Where did I get that for?
You mean a lucky pot?
Precisely like ponies prepare. Welcome, every creature, to our school's first annual Emily Ball. For those of you who've never attended a Fetlock Fete, we can't wait to show you some of our fun traditions on this special night. So, Spike? Scales and tail?
Scales and Tail. What a name.
Oh yeah, party ponies! It's time to raise the roof and stomp your hoof for the traditional first dance of the night, the Pony Cotillion!
You ought to know this one.
You do?
Indeed. We'll let them step back, shall we?
Wow! How did you learn this?
I had good teachers.
Of course she did. Oh, yikes.
Yoda, are you alright?
You never practiced dance with dress on.
No.
May I offer you a cup of punch?
Come on, shake things up a little. That's right, every creature. It's the Pony Prince.
Maybe we should sit this one out.
No, I do so love the pony concert.
Oh, Sandbar's blushes are just adorable. Like, legit. They are just straight up adorable. I gotta appreciate the fact that Yona's trying so hard to make this work. Like, really. Like, I can't fault her effort. Like, I gotta applaud her for that. But man, this is, I mean, again, it's awkward, but it's hilariously awkward. Again, unlike Common Ground. This is unlike painfully awkward. This is more hilariously awkward. This works better. Yikes. Oh boy. Whoa.
It's okay, Yoda.
Whoa, the fact that she can create a literal earthquake. Wow, that's intense. Oh. Oh, whoa. Oh. Ouch.
What a calamitous accident!
Yoda!
What happened? Are you all right? No! You're not all right! You don't want to be alone!
Aww. Oh, that's tough. Okay, now it got deep. Oh, that's tough. You know, you try so hard to be, to be someone else, and it goes well at first, and then it starts to fall back into the yak self, and it leads to that. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. That was tough to watch. That not again, not in the painful sense, but that was tough. That was tough. I really hope now. So again, I guess I was kind of wrong again, because I thought maybe Sandbar would see through it and then he wouldn't like it, but it actually went well up until the accidents happened. I guess that's really not Sandbar's character, I guess. Oh man. That was tough. Well, now it makes me wonder, how they're gonna recover from this. What's Sandbar gonna have to tell, Yona to cheer her up, to get her, back as herself and not this upset. And it's interesting. It's kind of like it's a stark contrast from Uprooted, because in that one, Yona had to be the voice of reason, and she didn't like the fact that her friends were fighting. Now she's the one that feels alone, upset, and now they have to be there for her. So it's kind of like a reversal, if you will. So yeah, this is it's going to be interesting to see how now they go about this. Long commercial break. And we're nearly 3 hours long now in this episode. I knew it'd be a long one with the episodes, but this was a loaded show. All right, how are they going to get Yona out of this funk?
Yona sad, Yona sings sad songs, sad Yona.
Aww.
Yona's no late bird. Yona don't want to be around Yona either. Yona's sad.
Oh, she's at the treehouse. Aww. Okay, so this is the first time we've even seen it since Uprooted. Aww. Well, Harmony did say when you need comfort, come to the treehouse. Aww. This is hitting me in the feels, man.
Yona?
Aww.
How's Sandbar find Yona?
I know you pretty well by now. I figured you'd come here. Besides, it's where I'd go if something like that happened to me.
Sandbar means something awful and embarrassing. So awful, Yona cannot come down from treehouse ever.
Aww. Wow.
Will Sandbar bring Yona food and water?
Aww.
It really wasn't that bad. I don't think any creature hardly even noticed.
Really?
Well, maybe one or two did.
Right.
They happened to be in Cadillac for the day. But anyway, it's all over now, so will you come back to the dance with me?
Yona disappoints Sandbar. Yona not make very good pony.
Why would you think you disappointed me? If you said anything that would happen to be a good pony.
Yona just wants to do all the right pony things and fit in a dance. And maybe Sandbar and Yona wins best pony pals contest.
Okay, timeout. If you were such, again, I know that maybe the dance part's something to do with it, but if you were such good friends before, why did you think you'd have to change for him now? Like, that's what I'm kind of like not getting in all of this. Like, if you were so good to each other before, why, again, the dance pressure might have had something to do with that. But why did you have to feel that way, now? That's what I kind of don't get. But man, just the way that they went about this is really hitting me, man. It's really hitting hard.
Yona wins worst pony ever.
Ouch.
It's not true.
Really? Sambar, name 2 ponies worse than Yona.
Cozy Glow and Sombra.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe you're not as dumb as you look sometimes, or sometimes dumb as you act. Okay, that is true. That is true. He makes a valid point. That is a good point. That is a very good point, Sambar. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
It's not true.
Really? Sambar, name 2 ponies worse than Yona.
Cozy Glow and Sombra.
Yep.
Okay. Sambar, right? They worse.
Yona, it doesn't really matter if you're a great pony or a horrible pony. You're the best Yona I know. That's why I asked you to dance.
Really?
I never wanted you to be anything other than what you are. My friend, Yona, the Yak.
Aww.
What do you say? Let's go back to the dance?
Wow. Party of loneliness.
Don't worry, I'm with you. We all are.
Aww.
They were so boring. Disappeared like that. Yona fine, but Yona sorry. Not mean to make such a mess and ruin the pony dance.
It's not your fault, Sugar Cube.
It's the opposite. If anything, we should be apologizing. I thought we were just teaching you how to play the dance. We never meant to try to turn you into something you're not. It's okay. Friend helped Yona feel better. And that's why we're giving you this.
Whoa.
Wait! The Pony Pal Prize!
From now on, it's the annual Amity Ball Award for Friendship.
No poniness required.
We all decided that you and Yona totally earned this.
Aww.
Actions tonight exemplify the true meaning of friendship. Congratulations, you two.
I'm glad you're back. Everybody wants to learn that crazy dance you did.
Yeah, dance is easy. You gotta teach. If every creature wants to learn, it would be an honor.
Aww.
Cue sport and teacher scales and tail is gonna deliver. Every creature join uniform, the Yakistan stomp.
I love it. That has got to be one durable castle. Brilliant. Oh my gosh. Yes. That did it better than Common Ground did. Yes. Oh my gosh. So much better than Common Ground did it. I love it. That one, I mean, there were still a few bumps, but that was a great episode. That's 9 out of 10. It's not like Sparkle 7 good, but wow, that was incredible. Yeah, that was amazing. Common Ground gets 7.5 out of 10. Moral is good, but was presented in a painfully awkward way. Although the ending saved it a bit. She's all yak. Nine out of 10. Would be a 10 if it wasn't the same moral from previous episode. To, don't be someone you're not, but presented in more fun, hilarious way. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. So with that, that is going to end this episode of ATSD. Guys, thank you so much for following along. I know it was a long one, but there was just so much to cover and a lot to get to. Hopefully will not be that lengthy in the future. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. If you like what you see, hit the like button. Thinking about becoming a subscriber. Spread the word, of course, as always. And I will post my updated episode rankings to Twitter, as I always do after watching episodes. And, of course, I'll be reading a lot of more summaries and watching other reactions as well before this week's episode. So yeah, thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for joining with me. And I will see you guys hopefully probably in 2 weeks or so on the next stream. So that will be probably ATSD episode 33. It probably will be. But there's something off in between. I'll let you guys know, whether it be on Twitter or whenever. So thank you guys again. Good night. Have a great week. God bless all of you. Thank you so much. This is Spiky Dash signing off.